and there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
It is time.
I'm gonna knock these stickers off. All right, what up, people? We live for another episode of the Heroes No Capes podcast, episode 40, I believe. It says it up top. Just look up there. Glad y'all here. I am the Abomination, known as AJ. Ooh, clap. Don't got a soundboard, so I do my own stunts. And I am joined by two people this time, but y'all know us for the most part. But first off, I'm joined by my man, my homie, my co-host, Mr. Left Eye Ego. How you doing, sir?
I'm very upset with you, good sir, for the chat. Again, it is I, Left Eye Ego. But for this guy over here, whichever point, that guy over there.
Who you talking to, man?
No, you, sir. I have some grievances I need to air out with the chat online regarding you, sir. But I digress, Mister. Keep going with your introduction, sir.
Okay. I have no introduction for this guy. He's a Phoenix. He's flaccid. He ain't getting too much up there, but his opinions are pretty great. They're pretty up there. So we're welcomed. Not welcomed. We're honored to have him here today. There you go. Take it away from me, Don. I'm fucking up.
Listen, I usually can't get it up, but that intro almost got it up for me because I could tell it was AJ behind the camera because those shots lingered almost close enough to Ego's ass as he's walking in, and I'm kind of like, man, he's trying to check out that dump truck as he's walking in. I'm like, dude, AJ. You edited pretty well, but I know I can see what was going on there. So.
Yeah. I appreciate you. He recognized the work. Y'all, today the episode is Enter the Dark Domain, and that just means we got some stuff going to a public domain. We have with James Gunn, we got some characters possibly crossing over. We have another reboot coming. Is that going to enter the dark domain of terrible content? Not necessarily woke, because a lot of this shit is garbage before you even get to the woke elements. It's just bad on its own from the beginning. Ego, take it away, man. What you gotta talk to me about?
First of all,
I'm sorry, Ego. I'm sorry. What? My bad. Let's get to the chat. Fine. Okay. Because my bad, man.
It's all right. It is your bad.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is your bad.
It's not a show, unless we got the people here listening. Otherwise, we just three dudes this time shouting into the ether. And I don't know about you, Ego, but I don't want to be left alone with Don. So I'm glad you here to take some of that attention away.
My hands aren't that cold. Don't worry about it, dude.
Cold and fat. All right. So we got Roman. Good morning, all. What's up, Mr. Roman of the Empire? Glad you're here, sir. John A. Douglas. I know I'm whiter than a Republican Party leader. Don, what you know about that? But am I still invited to the barbecue? Well, we got one of y'all right here in our midst, John, and you've been proven to be one of the good ones. So we glad you're here, sir. You can bring your own sauce. Let me see what y'all working with over there in Louisiana.
I'm bringing mayonnaise. Nice spicy mayonnaise. Ooh,
No raisins and no dishes that it don't belong.
give me some milk on this one. I gotta cool myself down.
All right, man. All right. Sean, morning, AJ, Ego, and Chat. And y'all, if I'm too loud, because Ego told me I was too loud earlier. So
No, you good now.
let me tone it down, man. Chill out, chill out. Morning, AJ, Ego, and Chat. What up, Sean? What up, Sean? Great peoples. Great people. Sporting News Podcast. How y'all doing? How you doing? Morning, all.
Morning.
Glad you up in here. Ruh-roh. What's up, Sean? What's happening?
It's probably because of the grievances.
Oh, okay. Things.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
When it's pre-recorded, no, we are live, Sean. I'm talking to you. We here in the present. Okay, you're not watching us in the past. Darkness. Darkness. Do I thought I had a Dave Chappelle clip on here.
Probably didn't. Probably got to get these on later then.
Gotta be more prepared. It took me down to the bottom. YouTube is being all sorts of weird. Man, I don't know anything about that, man. Don't know anything about that. Shout out to Vincent Price, the GOAT. All right. Who is Vincent Price?
I think he was on the show. I forget what it was.
He's an old, like, kind of horror actor. I think what voices did he do? I think he did the voice in the Thriller. That's his voice.
Oh,
I think so.
The funk of a
Look at
thousand
that.
years. That guy. Okay. Getting cultured.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm uncultured swine. All right, but let me know. I won't get better unless y'all tell me. But that's what's up. Shout out to Vincent Price. I like that. Ha ha ha! On my goddamn Nightcrawler statue. Best X-Man. Best X-Man. Mike has bad knees. What up, man? This man on the bad knees. He done walked his ass into the chat despite the pain and the exhaustion he might feel. And he says, I hope everyone is doing well this morning. Take your vitamins, sir. We good. We want you to be good with us. Glad you're here, though, Mike. First it said there was a problem. Yeah. Cannoli Sasquatch. What up, good people? My supernatural homie. How you doing, man? What you saying, Ego?
No, I was gonna say I had the same issue too. I didn't even see that you posted about today's episode even on Twitter. So I don't know if it's a Twitter and YouTube thing or what.
Oh yeah, I posted on Twitter. I don't know, man. Like once that's too much. Like I'll type it, but then somehow it just deletes everything. And I was just like, forget it. It's done.
Okay.
All right. I'm bringing potato salad with shredded carrots and raisins. Back on my bullshit. Hey, man, keep that to yourself. Leave that at home, okay? I love that he's so committed. I know, bro. I know. Okay, he did the epic laugh, that Thriller laugh. There you go. Look at that. A beautiful time. That white man got on that black man's track, lended his voice. Y'all, we was already diverse. He was in the house on Haunted Hill. Okay. I'm here to stomp on your coach and say, yo, to check. Stomp on your couch and say, yo, to chat. Bro, I could have swore I had a Dave Chappelle clip. I know it's in my videos. Anyway, morning, everyone. Nosferatu. What up, man? Smash that like button. People, do what the man says. Like Flaccid Phoenix smashes that jar of spicy mayonnaise. Hey, man, I must be getting a little pale because we got some sriracha mayo in the kitchen. I've been hanging around y'all too long. All right. Appreciate y'all, chat. Appreciate y'all. Ego, what you got for me?
All right, so this is what's been going on. Abomination and I have been going back and forth on things we want the other person to watch. So I'm like, I know that you're about the animal husbandry life, so you should watch Yellowstone. He said, man, I'm gonna do it. I'll do it. I'll get to it. I even gave this man the Paramount Plus password, which is very coveted in the Ego household, right?
No, and I already had it on Peacock for free.
First, season 1, sir. Season 1. There are 5.
Okay.
All right. I was giving you the extended release on this one, right? So I'm like, hey, look, go ahead and use it. So he's like, all right, I'll do that if you watch Pinocchio. Gotta warn you, it's gonna make you feel. I'm like, yeah, feeling as if, oh, that darn Pinocchio. Oh, that's cute. Why didn't he figure that out? This motherfucker had me watch the most emotional Pinocchio story I have ever seen by Guillermo del Toro on Netflix. Within the first 10 minutes, I called this man crying and was so upset, like,
this is not me, y'all. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
That was in the first 10 minutes. Stop laughing, it ain't funny. No, it ain't funny, man. What?
You had the tears when you called me. I didn't know it. You played it so well.
Exactly, sir. I was holding it back. That was the first 10 minutes. I was so pissed. And then I had to wait to get to the damn end with trying not to cry. And then here comes Geppetto saying some shit like this.
I still love you.
All right.
Was that a handicapped person?
No, that was a good.
That was a real laugh. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, he was crying. He was crying, sir.
Oh my! I mean, yeah, I cried. Wow.
That was
okay.
me, sir. How is Shiro sick, and she gonna ask me what's wrong? Okay, I'm over here crying because you said you gonna make me feel. By feel, he was like, "Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know I was gonna learn about a father's love, a son trying to prove his love to his family, grief, loss, survivor's remorse.
Speak to him. Speak to him.
Friends being the family that you actually choose. Dedication to your country. What it actually means to be a real boy out here in these Italian streets. History and animation. He didn't tell me I was gonna get all those. I did. I was gonna have to start over again, right? But damn, this man made me watch the most emotional animated movie I've seen since Up. If you have not seen Pinocchio by Guillermo del Toro, do it. Get you some Kleenexes next to you. Draw the shades because no one can see you crying like it's a Hallmark Christmas movie, okay? I am mad this man did not prepare me for that on a Friday of all damn days, okay? I said my piece, sir. I've aired my grievances, all right? But damn, sir. It was not cool. Not cool. Not cool.
All right. What up, Art Attack? This man is an amazing artist. All right. I would consider him a goddamn mentor, honestly. So glad you up in here, man. One of the people inspired me to create and all that goodness. Ego.
What?
When I say it made you feel things, or it made me feel things, I don't feel too many emotions. Movies don't really just do it for me. Some great media, some great entertainment, some great animation. I think they can tell a more compelling story as opposed to live action. I had this conversation on Pop's channel. Y'all go check him out. Links, drop all that stuff throughout the chats and in the comments. Y'all know what I'm talking about over there in that area. But this movie, it was wild because I don't even care for the first Pinocchio. And y'all, Pinocchio is not in the thumbnail. Okay, so I really don't want to stay here too long, but it is a part of the conversation because we're talking about the public domain stuff. But I was excited. I wanted to see a take on Pinocchio because I hear it was a story before the Disney adaptation. I don't care for the Disney Pinocchio movie. I like the stop motion with the little claymation or little dolls or whatever. So I like that. Sometimes a lot of times it's weird and ugly looking, but this is one of those times where it was done well. As well as I had heard Guillermo del Toro saying, or when he came out saying like animation is not a kid's form of entertainment, like it's a serious form of storytelling, and you can tell some amazing stories with it. So I was like, okay, this man's speaking some good stuff. Let me see what he does with this. And as I'm watching it, man, like you said, the historical elements, telling the story within that time, which I think is probably truer to the actual story than what Pinocchio did. So it's like, okay, I said, let me see somebody take this seriously, or give me an adaptation more closely related to the original. The art style is pretty cool. Like I said, some of those characters are real weird, but that added to it. Like it was honestly kind of creepy in the beginning. Yeah, like when Pinocchio first came to life, and like he had like those what is The Grudge? What's the scary movie with the little Asian children dead? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes. So he had like them type of movements.
Yeah.
But then he comes with the childlike voice, and he's just like, "What's this?" It made me think of fucking Jack Skellington, Nightmare Before Christmas. He's like, "What's this? What's this?
What's this? There's lightning in the air."
Yeah. Something everywhere, like that type of shit. Like that's kind of the stuff that Pinocchio was doing. So I'm like, okay, you can see this man is inspired by things. The historicalness, the loss of Geppetto in the beginning, and then you see how
not just Carlo.
The loss of I'm saying the loss of Geppetto, like not us losing him, his loss. So his loss of Carlo. Okay. But so Carlo, his son, and saying how, so I was like, okay, this is just the typical that character's reincarnated, and I don't want to spoil it too much for y'all because I saw Nosferatu saying he want to see it, but it's like, no, this is not that. You lost that. This is something different. And Pinocchio is even saying that to Geppetto, like, I'm not Carlo. Stop trying to make me that. Like, man, father, son. And not just him, but you see the other relationship, the other father and son with the dudes who were from the army.
Italy, the Italian army.
So
fascist Italy. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
You get to see
dude, yes. Bro. They do the high salute the whole half the movie. You're like, damn, Del Toro. He was not playing.
And then, I was telling Ego Don before you had hopped in, I said you called me out because I compare a lot of stuff to the Lion King, but the boldness and the creative way of portraying that what is it, goose step, whatever that is, thing with the hyenas and with Scar. I'm like, once you do that, and this goes more into why animation is so powerful, is because that goes over kids' heads for the most part. But the movie becomes timeless because they can go back and see those elements and be like, wow, all of this was there. And they made it into a way that was palpable to children. And this movie does this. Y'all don't hear me praise not too much of anything.
Oh my God.
And if you watch this and you hate it, then, I'm going to lose cool points, which, but the shit was amazing. Everything is Lion King. Exactly. I don't want to speak nothing blasphemous real then, but it was Lion King is
it was sorry, Don. Do you have anything you want to read on that one too? Or
that's what I got to say on that. I'm gonna shut up because this ain't about Pinocchio, but it was amazing.
As a white male on the internet, you said fascism. I think I'm in now. So
okay. The fingers got erect.
I'm crossing my fingers for a Mussolini cameo. So
okay.
You won't be disappointed.
You won't.
Where you're going. You will not.
Oh, dude.
You will not.
And he was about his business in that movie as well.
He was. Yeah, he was.
I said, speaking like that, he gonna and then the movie was not afraid to go there.
Well, what I like what you guys are kind of describing here is that they're like touching like deep, dark. Well, hold on. I would ask this first. Would you let a kid watch this, or what age of kid would you let watch this?
7 or 8.
Okay, yeah.
I think any age.
Yeah, I like when actual kid shows go dark because as a kid, I loved like dark themes and things that would kind of scare you a little bit. Not everything has to be so polished and clean. Being like, we can't show these kids these dark themes. They might get scared. It's like, dude, they love getting scared. Hansel and Gretel is a kid's story, and it literally talks about kids being eaten by an old lady. Like, there's a certain element that kids like to be scared that I think has kind of gotten away in mainstream pop culture. My mom used to do a home daycare, so growing up, I could kind of see the evolution of kids' content. And it would get very kiddish. Even like SpongeBob was still there, but like SpongeBob was, dude, growing up, SpongeBob had some like funny edges to it. But now it just everything seems so polished and clean. I don't like it.
I mean, for me, it's like the way that they hit the topics was kind of similar to me, like they did with Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was light in some aspects, but when it got dark, it really went there. And it gripped you too. So it was like it's only gonna let you go at the end of it. And so that's a lot what Pinocchio was able to do. So even if you're like 7, 8, or 9, the concepts are actually great. And I mean, I was looking at how the book was structured and the way that Guillermo del Toro portrayed Pinocchio being like a petulant child almost at times, very curious. Like that's straight from the book. There's not that I got no strings to hold me. He's like, no, motherfucker, I want hot chocolate now.
Yeah,
like, that's actually what Pinocchio was like. So he actually nailed his personality like at the early get-go. It was really great.
Yeah, you asked what age range. I said any age, but I don't know. Some kids will like it, some won't. Like some probably want like some Blues Clues looking shit on the screen. This does have like a darker, gritty, more muted colors. Yeah, so I'm like, it probably won't hold every child's attention. But as far as if you were asking, like, would I be okay with my kid watching this if it was on TV? Then yeah, most definitely. Like again, it shows things, but I don't remember blood. But there was death you know.
Right.
So it's like they have those.
It's a great way
but
to
again,
explain it, though. It's a great way to explain it.
Yeah. So I think because of that, I would let any child watch it, but whether or not it holds the young one's attention, that's a different story.
Yeah, if you look at James the Giant Peach and Nightmare Before Christmas, both those animation styles are kind of crude and darker, but are made for children. So
well, I want to interrupt. I was going to say, Excipitor's kids are like 5 and 3, and they love Nightmare Before Christmas. So I mean, that's what I mean. Like that music, it holds their attention every time. So
with that, because like I was just saying with the song, like what's this? Like there's a whole lot of childlike elements still in it, even though it looks all gritty and disgusting and dark. This movie, I don't think it really had that. Like it had great songs in it, but it's like a Disney versus DreamWorks. Like, there's some great songs, but they're not as well known as the Disney ones because they're so like upbeat, colorful, come out with sing-alongs and all that type of shit. But yeah, the music was great in this. So yeah, Arno came through. Mussolini only appeared for a brief moment. Oh, okay, you saw it. There you go. Did we see Decepticon came through? Decepticon, there you go. Hell, all on this awesome day. It's an awesome day. Saturday morning. It's supposed to be Saturday morning vibes, like cartoons back in the old days when we was kids. We woke up having fun with the cereal. Now we're grown folks, so you get your drink, your smoke, steal cereal. You know, maybe you're married, your wife and her making breakfast, bring us pancake, all that type of good stuff. Maybe you bring your wife breakfast. You know, do that as well. But that's what's up. All right, don't want to stay on Pinocchio too long.
No, I was like, because I had something that I told him I had a surprise for him, an article, because he got me emotional in a way, and I don't care if it makes him indifferent, mad or what. I'm gonna make this man a little bit emotional on my own. So I have something. I was gonna jump for the first topic, and I'm about to show you.
I don't feel those too often. I doubt it'll work.
How about this? Take this. The Lion King Scar gets his own Disney villains comic from Dynamite. How about that, sir?
I saw that. I didn't read it.
Son of a bitch. Okay, well, I'm gonna read it anyway. Okay.
You got to pull it up. See, this is what I mean. Like you'll pull the stuff up, but you have to actually add it to stream. Do you have that option?
Let me double check on here. Where would I
like
add
down?
Stream
you should
down here.
Bottom, it says present.
Right here. Yeah. Add to stream. There we go. My bad. I had to click the Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to skip down to this part right here. In April, Dynamite Entertainment, who have published Disney Comics Gargoyles and the upcoming Darkwing Duck, will be publishing a Scar comic by Chuck Brown and Trevor Fraley, and will look at the origins of his plan to murder his own brother and introducing the shaman of the Pride Lands, Rafiki. The solicit runs below and looks like it will start with a new line from Dynamite Entertainment, Disney Villains. Chuck Brown is best known for comics such as Bitter Root, Black Manta, Aquaman, On the Stump, John Carter of Mars, Flawed and Trenchcoats, Cigarettes, and Shotguns. Disney Villains, Scar #1 is published in April 2023 and comes with many, many, many covers, just from the likes of Janoy Lindsay, Karen Darboe, Erica Henderson, Jung Jun-yoon, Jin Ha, David Nakayama, and Amanda Connor. So, what you think of that?
Ooh, I quiver with fear.
That means nothing to me, sir. I'm already prepared for the Mufasa prequel to already fuck up this for me. So it seems like, just based off what you're saying, I don't know those people involved, but just based off of it, especially with all the little variant covers involved, it seems like a cash grab, something to go besides the Mufasa prequel movie, whether or not they're doing it on purpose or not, like to go with the movie. That's what it seems like. But I laugh to keep from crying, and I've gotten through that already. So now I'm just laughing just to laugh now. So what will it look like? We'll see. I'll read it online, possibly see what they're doing with it. But it is what it is. That does add into the public domain conversation, though, because now look, y'all, I'm proud of the thumbnail. Okay, I'm trying to work on my thumbnail game, but I drew the Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, and I drew the Peter Pan. Now I rushed him, but as I'm drawing it and I'm making these changes, I'm just like, you know what? If all of this shit is going to the public domain and we can make some money off of it, why not? Like, I know we was having a conversation, or y'all was having a conversation in the chat, that I know it was John. I guess I'm snitching. It was John and I think Hale, but they were saying they don't want to see like the kids things be turned into like horror little shows and whatnot. But I'm like, bro, fuck it. We can get some little quick animations of some characters that we take and not necessarily turn into horror, but into our own little versions of those things. Like, you know, there you go. Just like Guillermo del Toro did. It's like, you know, okay, Disney got Pinocchio, but now I can go make a Pinocchio and let's see what happens. And now Disney fucked up because I would say, I'm not going to say this is the definitive version. It is the definitive adaptation. Whereas Pinocchio, Disney's Pinocchio is simply that. It's been reduced to Disney's Pinocchio.
Right.
So, hey, Mufasa comic, whatever.
Yeah, and you can do a Peter Pan version where he takes all the kids to Little St. James Island, right?
There you go.
They took him someplace else.
AJ wants to do that, so
I don't want to tell that story unless somebody else have that character in the public domain.
Oh man.
But yeah, so let me read their comments. Let me see what's up with the chat. Because Bro Graham just hopped up in here. He said, Hail, you should have heard the Pinocchio talk. Okay, they had some of that going on. HA would laugh at the gas chamber victims to keep himself from crying. That's how tough he is. Man, as I go myself being a black Jew, I'm not a black Jew, but in your story, Arno, that's what I am. So I'm with you. Papa Geppetto. See, there you, hey, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Don, he telling on himself.
Yeah, he is.
All right. So y'all, with the whole public domain thing, that's what the Pinocchio conversation kind of came from. But that is something that we would like the chat to think about. Like, what characters would you like to see in the public domain, and what changes would you make to those? Example, mine's was Tarzan. Okay. I'm be honest with you, I do a lot of preaching about race swapping and tokenization, but I just loved fucking Tarzan so much growing up. And then Mowgli was Tarzan, except he was raised by wolves, except apes. So I was like, okay, these dudes, how do I get a black version of that? And race swapping, it crossed my mind, y'all. The devil, it took a hold of me. But race swapping crossed my mind, and I was like, nah, I can't do that. It's not creative. So I ended up creating my own Black Tarzan story.
Yeah, Tarzan is in public domain right now, isn't he, though?
So from what Ego was saying, the story is in public domain, but Disney has trademarked the name. I don't know how that works or whatnot, but so that's what he was saying. But so that was my example. That was my public domain character.
Gotcha.
Don, what you got for that?
Ooh, I don't know, because there's a bunch of fictional characters in public domain right now that you probably know, like Frankenstein, Dracula.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think some other ones that are right off the top of my head. But out of the ones that Disney has, which one I want to do? Like if they release
just anyone that's
I don't know, because I think it really has to be like a fun, cool story. I like the idea you have in the thumbnail too. That what is it, Honey and Blood? The idea of the Winnie the Pooh and the whatever creatures, the 100-acre woods go feral and they just start feeding on people. It's way funnier if it's that versus just people in suits, which I think it is actually. The creatures going feral and they're just like, I need blood, Christopher Robin, I need it. Which is awesome. I like the dark, twisted things, but I also like if you take all those, like a story and you put it in like some random genre too, that's like noir. Like if you had like a Captain Hook who's actually investigating a serial killer known as Peter Pan, right? Who's like taking these people, and it's just like a twist on the whole thing that you wouldn't see like necessarily there, but it could be. So just flip it on its head. So
and what he rides in not a hearse, but like the Cruella de Vil car, like a big one of that instead of the ship.
Shmi's his stupid detective partner too.
Yeah. God, you just made me think about something. With the Winnie the Pooh. So I don't like the direction that they're going, where it looked like men in suits, like these big dudes. But if it was something like Five Nights at Freddy's, where Christopher Robin or Never Ending Story, like he falls asleep reading his book or something, or he's in an attic, but it's creepy, so it already sets the tone, and then he's reading his story, and then he jumps into this world where you have these little creatures, but they probably grow in size bigger,
like the Page Master.
Yes, but those books was like his friends, his homies, but
I mean, like he goes in. I mean, but still going into the book itself without without interacting with books.
So something like that, I would have, I think that would have been a cool Winnie the Pooh story to see. And the things, y'all, I was in my head thinking about this shit, but because I don't remember what Oswald said or catchphrase, but Winnie the Pooh, if because he had that big what's that, the axe, and if somebody's running, and then you take the axe and he's like, "You're running, why bother?" And then, so then he does the slow walk, or he's like bouncing around. Bro, that'd be wild if he sees Piglet and they like doing the thing where, in the movies where they swing them around by the arms, he lifting Piglet up and they just having fun. And then Tigger is just like bouncing on somebody, but every time he bounces, he's just like impaling. Yeah. Oh my goodness. They don't have to be children. I hate when children die in movies. So it could be somebody else, but it did it. It killed children like crazy. Yeah, and that was a good movie by my standards for what I think. But yeah, Ego. So I asked him, what is the public domain character? What changes would you make? And it doesn't have to be Disney, because there was a lot on the list, like the pagan gods. Is that the right word? But like the Thor, Ares, like all of them people. So they were there, whole bunch of superheroes.
Like what I mean, like that's in there now. Like one I wish was actually going to be one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you mean like ones that are now, or like ones that I would want to work with?
Want to be one.
Okay, so I mean, I really would have wanted like the Super Sons, like Damian Wayne and John Kent. Like it was perfect for me. You know what I mean? Like they did too much by jumping too far ahead too fast. Even though the publication was maybe 3 or 4 years for those books, they seem to want to jump 7 or 8. And it's like, yo, if you make them 10 and 12 respectively, you've made 15 years of stories you can make with kids. You can do, and the thing is like watching Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio proved it for me. You can talk about all of those things involving children, and even adults would still read it. And so if it were me, that's the IP that I would want to get my hands on with the quickness. Just because it's a wealth of stories, and that you're right. Guillermo del Toro said that that cartoons aren't real animation. Italy isn't a children's medium, because I remember the first cartoons were specifically made for adults, and children started watching them, and then it had to flip to make the animation suit children's needs. But if you watch those Bugs Bunny cartoons from the 30s or 40s, there's adults. There's clearly adult content.
Look, that's funny as shit. All right, so we can go on and get into the article with the Tiny Toons, but that's funny because you said the first cartoons were for adults, and the Tiny Toons, the theme song, they said our star-studded cast been getting laughs since 1933.
33, yeah.
And back then, that's when all of them shits was racist as fuck. So yeah. So it's like, they was doing it, and hilarious, most definitely hilarious.
If it's gonna be racist, be funny too.
Yeah. Super racist, yeah. So, but that's funny because they was acknowledging it. But you know what? I would say them children. There we go. We get into it. I already pointed my finger. I'm gonna be that old boomer dude. But like, they've grown up. So this is a reboot that's coming out with the Tiny Toons, and so they're gonna be looking at this, because I'm speaking as if they're real, okay? But they're gonna be looking at this and saying like, okay, those kids understood the past of our adults, and they didn't try to cancel them. They were just like, we here now, we learning from them. They're our mentors, and let's be great like them, as opposed to what we see in the real world, which was, oh, they're a terrible white man, get them out of here, give them their reparations, you done this, and all that type of shit. So yeah, that'll lead into that article though, to see how or why I am hesitant, Ego, on this Tiny Toons reboot. Yes. Okay. Don, what you feel about how you feel about Tiny Toons? You mess with them?
They're probably the cringiest thing on the whatever. What was the thing growing up? The not CW, but what was the morning cartoon that would always be on that channel? You know what I'm talking about?
Cartoon Network.
WB.
Yeah, WB. I never really liked. I never really liked them. And who's his name? Is it Pee Wee in the Brain? Is that another one? That's kind of like
Pinky.
the same kind of Pinky. Yeah, of course. Yeah, no one cares. Listen, I when that was all going on, I was watching Justice League Unlimited, Static Shock, and that was it. I was like, this is high tier. All that other stuff is like, lame. So I really don't care for it, but I don't shame anybody for liking it.
Shame me all day. Shame me all day. But the characters that you mentioned, those DC characters, they're owned by Warner Brothers.
Right,
they are
yeah.
technically in the same universe. I was talking to Ego about the Super Sons comic where they're with Blue Falcon and Dino Mutt, who are I think they started off as Hanna-Barbera characters. But okay, so there you go. So even all of those characters are kind of technically in the same universe, but they do a lot of crossovers. But in that comic, it was saying that Blue Falcon and Dino Mutt were members of Batman Incorporated. So there you go. So just a bunch of cool little crossover, just the potential, just all of the ideas, especially animation wise, that what Warner Brothers or whatever, especially on the HBO service, that they could be doing this at their fingertips, like this whole universe, and yet Marvel is everybody's still focused on them with MCU. It's like, bro, fuck that shit. Dedicate some time over here and actually develop these ideas, because I've seen the movies of like the Blue Falcon and Dino Mutt when they were like Scooby-Doo, or you see Blue Falcon with Batman with Scooby-Doo, all of that. So I mean, come on now, give us that. I would love to see a Young Justice where Blue Falcon is on a mission, or somebody went over to doing something with him, and to see what's Superboy's dog name?
Crypto.
No, Wolf, not young Superman.
My bad. Okay.
Yeah, but like Wolf and Dino Mutt together on a mission. Like, yeah, man, I'm all for that. Wow, I haven't heard the name Tiny Toons in years. They coming back. Sean, you're wrong. Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain was lit. Yes, sir. Yeah. Animaniacs. Now
I'll take your word for it.
Bro, Animaniacs, they had a reboot on Hulu. I think it was more of a continuation, but it just didn't hit the same. Appreciate you, Arno. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. Give me that world. All right, y'all. We've been gabbing. Let me get into the article.
Go ahead.
We want a fun audience, but we want a competent audience as well. So we can do our part to throw out some information. Here you go. I'm going to skip through a lot of this because it's the Tiny Toon Builder shit, which is some kid show where they trying to be like Bob the Builder for some reason.
Compete with Bob the Builder.
He's been out of the game though.
Reruns and syndication, man.
What do we do now, Bride? Same thing we always do, Pinky. Try to take over the world. I've never done that voice, so Arno, you put me on the spot.
I think so, Brian.
All right. So Warner Bros. Animation. Warner Bros. Animation to launch Tiny Toons University this year. All right, let me skim through this, y'all. Wabbit season, okay, lame. Animations launch. Builders and HBO Max's Looney Tunes cartoons confirms the arrival, of Tiny Toons University later this year. Okay, so they're celebrating Lunar New Year with the kids show. But here we go. My bad. I thought I was there because they talking about all this Filipino character. All right, anyway, so Buzz will also be back.
Go ahead. No, I was what they were saying about the Lunar New Year. I was like, they're gonna make it related Chinese somehow. I'm just trying to figure out where it was. Okay.
Exactly. So
Filipino?
Baza is the first Filipino Canadian actor to voice the iconic Bugs Bunny. So yes,
nothing
he gets
to
his.
do with that's China. It's Chinese Lunar New Year.
I'm trying to skip past it, man. He gets his race award.
Okay, I'm like, that is so terrible to say. Goodness gracious.
All right, the character.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I feel you. He voices the character, but the character, the guy that we're actually here for, that we well, I believe is a real person. Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Fucking amazing. All right, Bugs will also be back along with two other famous Looney Rabbits, Babs and Buster, and Cartoon Network and HBO Max's new show, Tiny Toons Looniversity. The half-hour animated comedy series is a reboot of Warner Bros. Animation and Emblem Television's Emmy Award-winning Tiny Toon Adventures for a new generation, following Babs, Buster, and the rest of the crew to Acme Looniversity. At the esteemed institution of higher hijinks learning, they form long-lasting friendships with one another and perfect their cartoony craft while studying under the greatest cartoon characters in history. The Looney Tunes is the official show description. Bugs Bunny, producer, Warner Bros. Animation, Tiny Toons, Looniversity is produced by Emblem Television and associated with Warner Bros. Animation. All right, so there you go. That's that. Do you have thoughts on that? Y'all got thoughts on that? Because I will sit there and talk all day about that. What's up?
Don, you want to go first, sir? You're the guest. Go ahead.
I love the classic Looney Tunes, probably like most people do, especially when there's, always see someone's like drinking alcohol and they're putting dynamite in people's mouths and stuff like that. It's like over the top. It's ridiculous. I hope they kind of catch that charisma of it in kind of like the 90s did a little bit, but I don't know if I don't have confidence in them, and I don't know who's like actually running it all or what their whatever their resume, their track record is. So I can't be like, oh, I'm super excited because like you said, like who cares? Like, we gotta make our own stuff or at least look for new content. And it feels like a lot of times when people go back to rehash and bring back from the ashes like a phoenix an old property, it really feels like it's just a cash grab because they're just using the property as an advertising or like the name recognition to get into headlines like we are right now, where it's like, oh wow, they're bringing back whatever property right now, and then people talk about it just like this Scooby-Doo, like the Scooby-Doo Velma thing. Only reason why people are really talking about it is because it's Scooby-Doo. But if this was some random like HBO miniseries that had no other characters that we knew of, like no one would care. They'd just be like, yeah, this is stupid.
Yeah, this is shit.
So I don't know. I'm like meh on it. I'm throwing some cold water on this segment. So
there you go. I like it.
I'm gonna actually, even though I have no idea how this is gonna turn out, I at least give him an A for effort on the art. It looks like it's bright. It looks crisp, and most of it does not look like that Forrest Gump art we keep seeing with stuff like Rick and Morty or even the Velma series. That really weird. I don't even know what kind of art that is. Do you know what kind of art you would call that?
No,
I call it Forrest Gump art because number one, it all looks the same, and number two, they're like, my mama always said I could draw good. How this look? And it's the fucking stick figure with hair.
Exactly. I keep saying I went to school with these people when all of this shit was like really going down. I didn't know I was amongst the sharks though. But you talking about people that just love fucking Steven Universe and Adventure Time. Adventure Time is cool, but it does suffer from the lack of art. I think a lot of it is fuck the art. What's the quickest way to get our message out? And not necessarily saying that message is always political. But like, I think the Amazing World of Gumball was different because that took a lot of work to animate and to do all that and the different characters in their universe. But these were like the beginnings of this terrible animation time, which lets me know the East is going to just keep kicking our ass in that area, and we're not trying to get our shit together. But then, I think about something like Beowulf, like if y'all saw that beautifully animated 3D animated movie, adult movie. But for the most part, America does not really fuck with the animation. Now, like you were saying with Tiny Toons, you can get away with the simplistic art style because for the most part, with the exception of the actual Looney Tunes, like they're from the original to like, I would say like early 90s Looney Tunes, as they started to come out with these newer iterations of it, then it started to get more whack. But it's still simple in a way, and Tiny Toons was definitely that. They were pleasing to the eye though. Bright colors, the hijinks, they were still there. They were not as mature as the Looney Tunes, but there were a lot of gags. There were a lot of them, and Animaniacs did a great job of referencing the actual world, real world events, which is something that the Looney Tunes did. He said, "Speak up, son." But the Animaniacs, they started to, I'm not saying go woke, but they was like, they just told more safe jokes, and then you saw like a lot of current Animaniacs did current culture, so it didn't really hit. But I don't, it's hard to say, I'm not going to shit on it just yet, because so far all we know is the art, and the art, though is simple, the original style was simple. It's a little bit more simple, but not enough to like really make it jarring. Like this is, like Don said, this is not like, well, not exactly this, but this ain't like Velma level of terrible animation.
Cringe, right?
Yeah, of cringe animation. So as being a fan, I know not to get my hopes up there, but just based off of the art, I'm like, this is dope. Like with the Mario trailer, if I didn't like, without seeing the trailer and you just see the art, then I'm just like, that shit's beautiful. I'm going to pay attention. I'm looking forward to seeing this art move and hear the voices and whatnot, see the direction that they're going.
Agreed.
Yeah, Don, he's quiet because he said he don't give a shit about this. We threw him in here. We didn't tell him the topics. He was like, all right, I will adapt.
But yeah, no, I mean, I love good animation. I'll watch animation. Like, I think we grew up in an era where it's totally fine to be an adult and watch cartoons, because like when we were younger, Family Guy was on the air, and that's for that's for adults. So South Park. So there's no, I have no shame in it. But like you said, yeah, Eastern culture, for some reason, Eastern culture is able to create new ideas and then pop off, then become like titans of their industry for a certain period of time. Then, whatever, they fade off because you only have so many stories you can tell with these characters. But then they kind of let them die, for the most part. You don't really see, I say that, but then we see Dragon Ball Z being kind of like rebooted or whatever, or brought back. But I don't know. I wish Western culture actually could make, I know they're trying to make new stuff. It's not like they're not trying to make new stuff, because they have new stuff. It's just nothing hits. And I don't know why it's not hitting. Besides that, they're talentless hacks that can't write anything.
Yeah, I do think that's a difference in like the culture, because a lot of us, we praise animation. People have been saying for years that DC has been killing Marvel when it comes to the animated movies. Though Marvel has had some good ones, and they haven't really like leaned into it. So there are some of us over here, but the culture itself doesn't respect animation, because you got people like what the Bobs at Disney saying, Disney or animation is for kids, and adults don't want to see that shit. So that's why Disney is becoming more of a lifestyle brand, and you're going to see more adult content, sadly, on the Disney platform, as opposed to family friendly, happy characters and whatnot. But I forgot who I heard talking about this. Oh yeah, I was reading like some Dragon Ball Z info or article or whatever, but so Dragon Ball Z is hot over in the East. They kind of died down for a minute, but they got back up there. But it's just because their culture, they respect manga as a form of like entertainment. It's not for kids. It's just something that we do over here. So you see the books do better over there as opposed to here in America, where like, anybody can attach themselves to Marvel or DC because they're a part of the culture, like the art wise, or like seeing like branding. That's more so of what we see these characters as, our culture see these characters as opposed to them who see actual storytelling. And I think with the a lot of them commute, so a lot of them will be reading a manga, shit like that, as well as it's going to be hard to change that culture, because, and I saw people talking about this online, but if somebody wants to read about an American hero, then it's like, okay, what fucking version of this hero, what year, like what reboot, all that type of shit, all these number ones that came out at different times, as opposed to a manga, like I think what you're trying to say, Don, where that book is like beginning to end, and then same team on it, unless something happens to like the author or artist or some shit, and then they'll replace or get somebody else. But they got the same team working on the same story, so it's like, okay, if it's bad, then that person ended up, I just didn't like their story. It ended on a bad note, as opposed to in America, where you're like, well, it was good until this person took over the run and all that type of shit. And it's just like, it's just too much.
Yeah. Well, animation right now, like, what is out there for young adults, like male or mostly men, right? As soon as you get past, like, as soon as you hit in your teenage years, because contrary to popular belief, whatever age range you're shooting for kids, like, this is made for preteens. Not all preteens are watching it. People younger than preteens are more so watching it. You always kind of watch something as a kid. At least for me, this is applicable. I always watched something that was like right above my level. Like when I was a teenager, I was watching rated R stuff. When I was a preteen or younger than that, I was watching PG-13 stuff because I wanted to be there. And it was like, oh, I can watch stuff, and I'm finally just so close, and I'm barely scraping the surface of what I can be watching there. So there's nothing out there for, like, what do you want to say, like teenage boys animation wise. Well, what's out there right now? Everything's anime that's out there. There's no Western stuff for them. And at least for Disney, when they bought, their initial thought when they bought Marvel and Star Wars was they were going to try to corner that market that they don't have in the Disney properties. Everything was like kids to girls with, Disney Channel, all of those other things, or more girl centric. There was nothing for boys to stick around for, but then they finally had, that goes down a whole different rabbit hole. But I guess my main point is there's nothing for boys in Western culture when it comes to animation.
Well, I was gonna say, well, then keeping it within the realm of, I guess, Western animation. I got this from Thoughts on Fitness. Anybody have a take on Invincible? Did y'all see that show?
No,
Yeah,
I didn't.
It.
I didn't read it or
AJ,
watch it.
AJ, you should watch it.
You really need to watch it.
I should. But as far as animation purposes, but I mean, Ego, you told me there was like woke changes to it.
So this is the thing. I read the first compendium, right? I will say this. First of all, the ginger side is real because they swapped out Amber's character and made her black. And Amber isn't, I don't like to say the word because it's a terrible word to say, but I find this one incredibly applicable. Zazie Beetz' portrayal of Amber makes her a bitch. A terrible one. A complete bitch. As in the fact that if you read the book, you'll find out that he's dating this girl named Amber who doesn't have any superpowers at all, right? Amber's worried because he keeps getting phone calls in the middle of their dates and he leaves. And she's like, what's going on? And so there's a point at which he tells her, like, yo, I'm sorry about this. No, people said I shouldn't do it, but I'm invincible. She's like, oh, thank God. He's like, wait, you're relieved? She's like, yes, I thought you were a drug dealer. And you're like, shit, that would make sense. He gets these anonymous phone calls in the middle of the day with phone numbers that don't have names on them. He runs out, has late hours, quit his job, but still has a way to make money. That would actually make sense. In the animated show, he tells her, I'm invincible. She says, I knew that already. He's like, wait, what? Yeah. And it shows a complete lack of trust on my part that even though we've only been going out for less than a month, you didn't even tell me about it. This dude didn't even tell his best friend, William, that he was invincible. But yet this bitch he knew for a month, he's supposed to go ahead and let him know his deepest, darkest secret. Fuck out of here. Outside of that, the show was great. I'm sorry and I digress. But you've got me an emotional spot today, and you did this, sir. You did this.
So, and that's like the main reason I don't want to watch Invincible. If it didn't stick to source material, that's one thing. But the fact that it's another annoying, terrible black female character, race swap character, I didn't want to. I'm tired of seeing that shit.
It's 90% source material. Even reading the book, it's about 90% source material. It's just like she's not going to be around for long anyway. So by season 2, she should be at least on her way out. So
it doesn't ruin it, like what AJ said.
No, it doesn't ruin it. No,
it like it's frustrating to watch. And you're kind of like, why the fuck would someone put this? Why would they make this change? Is the best friend change too, or is he like that in the comic? Because the best friend's gay.
Yeah, William is gay.
Yeah, in the comic.
In the comic, yeah. But the thing is like, the funny thing is, he's like, dude. So he's like, and the funny thing is like when he's like, dude, can you pick me up and fly me? And the thing is, while he's flying him, he's like, "Ugh, this is so gay." And the thing is, he asks, what's his name? He asks Adam Eve to do it, and she's flying, but she's like, "Ugh, this is so gay." And when William actually comes out to Invincible, he's like, He's like, so that means you're not gonna pick me up and fly me anymore, doesn't it? He's like, yeah, I'm afraid that's over.
Yeah.
And like that's the fun. That's comedy. Like that's in the book. That works.
I would rather read the book. I'll just read the book and I'll be fine with it.
Bro, the book. You want to read the book? Hold up.
I saw it. I know it's thick.
And then Arno Lopez in the chat saying the creator made some of these changes too. Yeah, I feel like a lot of these creators are, I don't know if a lot of them are being forced to do it, but some of them are like, well, now I'm writing this in current year, so I might have to make changes because this book is old.
You can tell me you go read this, sir. This book is thick. This book is thicker than a BET Uncut video. You tell me you go read this.
That's fine. That's like American manga right there.
Okay, no, this is book 1 of 3.
What I mean is American manga, like you giving me that much content that long. Okay. Instead of short bursts, it's just like it's a whole book. So I just whole book.
All right.
I just didn't want to see them change. Now I watch like something like that. I'll go on YouTube and watch the fights. So I'm like, okay, like that's all I need out of it. There's no amazing storytelling happening. It's not gonna make me feel shit like fucking Pinocchio. You know, I'm waiting on the fucking meme where what's his name, Omni-Man is beating his ass and like, we're better than them or some shit. I'm just looking for those moments. That's all I need from the show. So I don't have to watch it.
All right.
What was the conversation though? You derailed us. I was gonna say something.
That's because you emotionally derailed me. You emotionally derailed me by making me watch Pinocchio. This is my revenge, okay? This is a revenge stream.
Someone in the chat threw that suggestion out. I wish there was a middle ground between Invincible and Justice League / whatever you want to say, the Paul Dini, Tim Bruce animation, because that stuff is like a little more kiddish. I wish there was a middle ground there, kind of like Young Justice, I guess, was there for a little bit, but that is like the only example for like older kid animation that would scratch that itch on the Western side. That anime dominates, and we're not able to compete with.
So that was the conversation. It was like cartoons that specifically for young boys that, of course, girls could watch as well, but you just know boys are correcting the shit. I was listening to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fucking theme song. Like if you go back and watch like during that time period, Don, that you was talking about, where there was just like a lot of just like boy focused cartoons, and I'm just watching this shit. I'm getting hyped. I'm like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Dun, 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 dun. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even into metal, but I'm playing a fucking guitar. I'm riding my skateboard and my skates like the Ninja Turtles. I'm jumping on rooftops and shit like that, like Power Rangers. You know, there were girls in it too, but it's just like, no, we don't have anything like that to where, you know, this is just going to be a lot of the early makings of testosterone, a lot of energy, a lot of ass kicking. Dudes are going to be like being dudes, being bros, punching each other, talking shit. And we're going to be like best friends, like homies. I don't see any of that. And I think Young Justice was the closest thing to something like that. There was a lot of female characters in there as well. So I wouldn't say that was actually what we're talking about. But no, I don't see any entertainment like what we're talking about. Like you put on Cartoon Network, it's Adventure Time, and like I said, Steven Universe was a thing, and just that type of shit. And
well,
I don't know what's the
if you go through like the back in the day, we used to watch Cartoon Network, right? And you could watch the programs slowly change from like you said, the Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Laboratory, slowly go into Toonami, and you can kind of get you can almost as it goes later in the night, the older kids get to stay up longer, right? So, and then you finally reach Adult Swim, where it's like, you know, stuff like Super Jail and stuff like this crazy over the top, or Metalocalypse or something like that. So there's no, right when you would hit that part in Toonami, it would all just be, and Toonami is mostly anime, but that's right there. It's like that right there. No one's really touching. And I feel like you could corner the market on something like that. I guess that Voltron series might have been, but I don't even know if that was Netflix. No, I've never really watched it, so I don't know. But Castlevania's kind of there. You know, but again, that's all kind of like that weird anime style, right? And I don't know how much of that's really Western. And again, maybe there's no money in it for Western studios to do it in, but I feel like there is, because I don't know, animes are crushing it, right?
So you say that, and yes, talking about animation, but let's go to the movies where, I hear a lot of you guys talk about movies that y'all would consider like cult classics or great movies today didn't do well in the box office. So I think that money factor, or like how do we get paid the most, is overriding a lot of the decision making, as opposed to let's put something great out. Like I was just saying that what was it, Craig McCracken, who worked on was like Powerpuff Girls, I think Dexter, like back those type of cartoons. Now he's coming back with reboots of them, not continuations. Like we're not seeing Powerpuff Girls age up and like kick ass. Which the anime version, they were aged up. They had gadgets and they was kicking ass. But so I'm like, it's back to that shit. Americans reboot.
I would say this. The best way I can explain it is in the industry that I'm in deals with hearing aids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they've been doing this. Hearing aid manufacturers have been around since like basically before 1900s, right? And all over the world, there are only 6 big manufacturers, right? Every 3 years, we hear about this big company that'll be like, oh well, Sony or Panasonic, or I forget the last one that to do it would say, oh, we're gonna get into the hearing aid game. Because oh, did you know that only 10% of people that have hearing loss actually get hearing aids? So out of the 335 million people, only 33 million people get hearing aids. We're underserving the population, and we calculate that out. If they get our hearing aids, that's $1.2 billion a year for us. And they don't understand how the industry works. They don't understand the base. They don't understand their needs, but they spend all this money and hope to get this huge return. And within 3 or 4 years, they wind up folding. So I think for animation, it's the same way. These big companies are saying, well, look at how well Demon Slayer did, or Dragon Ball Z when they made a movie, or, even going back to the 80s, the Transformers movie. That could be us. Let's do that. They throw all this money back at it, hoping for a huge return, not understanding that when the movies originally came out, they made enough money for just the basis that they put out. Do you get what I mean? So if you're making,
Mm-hmm.
if you put 3 episodes of the cartoon together, that's the movie. So all you do is multiply that simple budget they had times 3, and you've got that money. But these directors and producers are throwing so much more money in it, hoping for an even huge return, and not looking at what actually happens with the money. So that's the best way that I can explain why they're doing this with rebooting and reanimated things.
Yeah. Not man. That's why you was talking about those toys and stuff, and you was telling me about the Hasbro like Apple website or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I saw that they had the Cobra Kai Power Ranger toys
crossover. Yeah.
And I'm like, instead of, because Cobra Kai is hot, Power Rangers gonna always be hot. So they cross those over. Cool as far as toys, but what is that? What is the appeal of that? It's not just because we know those characters. Well, I guess it mostly is that, but because those themes, right? It's a twofer for as far as merchandise. But I'm like, what is that crossover giving us that we're missing from actual content? And I always say, Cobra Kai, if you give us a mature Power Rangers story, I think a lot of people would be interested in that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a Power Rangers story, but a mature team of heroes, and where they fighting something. That's what we're missing. It's not so boy targeted, or it don't have to be so boy targeted, but I guess that true diversity that we're talking about, different people coming together, but because they have a common goal, a common cause, then they work through those differences. You might have people on the team that fucking don't like each other. Like Don, you mentioned Static. Like, yeah, they had the one episode where Gear, Richie's dad, was racist, and the story didn't.
Based.
I know. You probably got a picture of the dad in your room, not Static, not Richie.
Can't wait for his offshoot comic run of his dad.
Or so Gear sniffed some of Static's clothes, or the dad sniffed some of Gear's clothes. He got a little whiff. But we don't have that entertainment that I think truly teaches people how to be better people and to respect the people next to you who are different, but learn to work together. and I always go back to conspiracy theorists, but I do think, that's the I'm be honest with you. Somebody posted can men menstruate on Twitter, and I was like, let me Google
I
that
saw
and
that
see if that's
bullshit.
right. So that's real. Politics is downstream from culture. So if you can change the culture enough or make people see these things as okay, then it can easily be changed. These people will vote for those changes. What I'm saying with the lack of characters that are coming together for a common cause, well, we see them trying to separate us in real life. So we're not going to push entertainment or media that brings people together to fight some big bad. Now, I'm not saying those things don't happen, but for the most part. What's up, man? What you got?
No, I was gonna say, me and Justin Nice were having conversations about this because people will hear that kind of a statement and say, "How did you get there?" Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And the thing is, he's like, "Well, you work off of three things. It's hard to do something if you're scared, you don't know where your next meal's coming from, or if you have trouble acquiring a mate, right? Just basic biology or basic psychology and biology, right? So most people can find their food for the most part, right? Being in fear, it's going to depend on what it is. And then finding a mate can often be hard too. So, what if someone told you that the only reason you can't do one of those three things, two of those three things, or all those three things is because, you're not in the right body, or, it's someone else's fault, or no one really likes you the way you are, so you should change it. And it's such an easy pill to swallow. Do you know what I mean? Like to say, hey, look, I know that you work 5 days, but you only technically get 48 hours before you have to go back into 40 hours. You know what? Here's something you should drink, to help numb that. But then they turn around and say, hey, you shouldn't drink as well. So they're giving you something, but also taking it away. And if you're getting used to that, and if someone tells you that, hey, what you said, hey, men can menstruate, you like, that's what I've been missing. And then someone else says, but you can't. You sir have a dangalang. That's
Mm-hmm.
not how it works. And you feel like they're taking that away from you. It automatically puts you in a defensive mode. And now all we're seeing is people from both sides wanting to fight. So you see what I'm saying? I mean, like when you're getting to this point of making statements like that, that's I think how we wind up getting there. And I think what's going to be important is saying, well, hey, we're not fighting. We're just having a conversation that's going to be rational. But the people that want to have the rational conversation aren't afraid, can actually feed and acquire food for themselves, and are okay with a mate, or okay with themselves. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And or unafraid. So I think that's going to be crucial if you're trying to have any kind of culture war, regardless if you want to be involved in it or not, is to come at it from that perspective.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry,
Don't.
but deep. Sorry.
Yeah. And we don't want to be too heavy all the time. But yeah, man, that's why I feel like a lot of these things are happening.
Real quick, something you said earlier, you're talking about Cobra Kai. Something I don't like about Cobra Kai is that it's so campy, and which is like it's fine for whatever genre like it's trying to be. It's like, oh, we're kind of almost making fun of the 80s because of how ridiculous these karate interactions are, right? Because it's really unrealistic. Like these, like he's able to beat all these people with these karate moves, and I wish there was like a darker edge to it where it's like they almost have a supernatural power. Now it doesn't work in the Karate Kid universe. I'm saying if I was to like have this own different universe, it would be awesome to have almost these, whatever you want to say, like better than human being martial arts abilities, and
Isn't
they
that Power
actually.
Rangers though?
Well, I'm saying
That's
like
what I'm
that,
confused.
and then it's like actually dark and gritty, where it's like, yeah, I'm going to teach you these ways, and they're only going to be used for this, and I don't know, I that right there would reach the level of whatever you want to say, the young adult, where it's actually showing gritty things. Because like this new anime, I haven't watched. I think I've watched 2 episodes of it, but this Chainsaw Man. Have you heard about this new anime?
It's weird. I've seen someone do the
Yeah.
cosplay for it.
Again,
it looks awesome, but
I've
yeah,
seen a
again,
couple episodes.
yeah, again, it hits that young adult right level, and same with One Punch Man. They're both like kind of newer properties, so I don't know. I wish there was something there. There's clearly not, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I was saying with the Cobra Kai stuff. I thought during because it got kind of heavy. I know what you mean, like not exactly heavy, but like where they was like almost you question whether or not they're like just truly human. I thought during the what was the previous season where Miguel like went to Mexico And so when first they encountered the like those gang dudes or whatever, whoever they were, the scam artists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was cartel. But go ahead.
Okay, okay, so yes, going into that, and then with his father, and then like the dad bringing a gun out at some point, and then like when they was in the fight ring in the UFC like area, I thought shit was about to get wild.
I did too.
I thought it was going to go in that direction. And no, it doesn't fit in the Cobra Kai universe, but again, it just kind of got my like hairs to stand up. Like, if only this was, Hell says Tekken and Street Fighter, like something like Street Fighter, because they had like little crazy shits in there, like Blanca at some point, and Dhalsim who's stretching, but the fact, like a Ken and Ryu or like a Chun Li, where they're just great martial artists, and then maybe there's an energy where these people can harness.
That's we'll see. This the thing is like I thought Mortal Kombat was trying to do that with the recent movie that came out. It was just a terrible execution.
You talking about the theatrical movie?
The HBO Max one that just came out a year before last, I think. I think that was their attempt to do that. It was just a terrible way of explaining it. That's all.
Yeah.
Like honestly, if you told me that you can get the guy that directed Day Shift or John Wick to make Mortal Kombat 2 and actually write a little bit better story, I'm watching that because I think that's what you might want. Is you want everything to match up without either being too over the top or needing too much explanation. But the explanation you give is just enough. You know what
I mean? But with that though, so Don, are you saying would you want that to still be like live action or be animated?
Probably animated. I'm mostly talking about animation, and I'm saying like Cobra Kai almost gets it. It's for an older audience, but it knows what it is. And like Halo Lore said, like leave it alone. Yeah, I agree. Leave it alone. I don't want Cobra Kai to go darker. It's camping and it fits the tone it's trying to hit. Yeah. But I just think if you want to hit the younger adult right before they turn into kind of more, I don't know, pessimistic people that hate animation, they're like, oh yeah, none of this Western stuff's for me because everything's just Superman and Batman over and over again. And yeah, there are some good stories for them. There's nothing really there for, like, I don't know what it is. Like, Japanese animation does such a good job of showing people like suffering to reach a goal, and it's so satisfying when you get there, right? Like, how many of these animations, or these animes, I should say, are these guys on these journeys of just. It's not even self-discovery. It's nothing like that. It's literally, I'm going to suffer for a greater cause, and then you see them on the other end, and even they have like a more like literal transformation into like a god now, and it's like, holy shit, it was all worth it in the end. I know there's these kind of elements that really speak to young men that aren't being portrayed nearly as often, and it's funny because they always talk about like how many people, not even just, it's literally not even just like, oh, a bunch of white boys like this stuff. Literally like how many people we're seeing people in the NFL and NBA right now obsessed with anime. Yeah. Because that's what they grew up on, and that was the thing that they could relate with because they're in sports and they're pushing themselves to their literal limits to be the best they can be, and that's what drives them is perfection and competition. And you always have the cliche rivalry of like the anti-hero in the group, right? Where he's like, but I respect the anti-hero, respect the hero, even though because they're working for the same goal, they're just competing same side. Anyways, I there's nothing there, and it's unfortunate. I wish there was more of it in Western culture. So,
yeah. So with that, because I know what's the UFC fight Israel Adesanya, like dude is like doing like the Naruto things and like hype moments. Like that's beautiful to see because you see how important. And again, he's one UFC fighter out of like all of them, but you see how a lot of people do carry these stories over into adulthood with them. And
make an impact.
And again, I don't think creators are worried about that. They're more worried about what's popular, what can we do to make that money. But saying, I mean, that's like, instead of waiting for somebody famous to make that popular or accessible or make it cool, I do think that's where we come in and like we see the issues that we're having with it and we say, okay, we're going to create that. So then we create that culture and it won't be cool. It won't be the normie focused thing. I'm fine with that because I don't want a normie coming over saying, let's turn AJ's character gay. And yeah, we're all for it. It's a better time. Like, fuck that. So the longer they can stay away, the better if they're not going to respect it. But yeah, instead of waiting on something to be hot and we can attach ourselves to that, let's go ahead and create what can be the next hot thing and gatekeep it. Meaning keep it respected, keep it what it is. Don't let it be tainted or let others get their hands on it, because I can only imagine. I don't know what the afterlife exactly looks like, but if I'm Stan Lee or fucking Walt Disney and I'm seeing what's happening right now to the shit that I created that didn't have the purpose of what current people are putting on it, it just makes you feel, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It probably, unlike what we see with these folks who are out talking about to do with Invincible, making these changes, like unlike those people who are like bending the knee or it's like, yeah, I will change what I created to suit you guys, so that you can like show it to the world and I can get money. Yeah, I think that's a terrible feeling to see your property, to see your baby get used for agenda purposes. So yeah. Then yeah. Zach's let me know. I'm pretty sure, or I hope Zach's is in the chat. But yeah, always invited. And I we see you guys in the chat. Ego's trying to keep us on task. So with the I guess we didn't have I didn't have another topic really to care about. I'm just like really focused on the public domain and the characters and like the culture. What characters can we see done? I asked the chat, what public domain characters would y'all like to see? What characters? They don't even necessarily have to be public domain. All of these at some point, I don't know, somehow will be like public domain. Just let us know what you want to see and the changes that you'd make. Because if you just I just want to take the character and I just want to continue to do something, that's not really the same. The shit has to be changed enough.
I'll show them what else has just came out for public domain. If you guys are mystery fans, I'll go ahead and show you that too.
Yeah, so you had the other articles of that and that James Gunn stuff. So that's on you.
And ironically, this is actually from CNN talking about Sherlock Holmes joins a first Oscar winner in the ice cream song in public domain. So hey guys, the I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream, that song is now public domain. Feel free to remix that shit. All right, so a Sherlock Holmes collection, the first film to win the Oscars top prize, and a classic ditty by Irving Berlin are among the thousands of books, films, and musical compositions entering into the U.S. public domain in 2023. I'm actually going to skip down to this because it says among the most famous of this year's crop are The Casebook of Sherlock Holmes, which decisively ends a decades-long saga of Arthur Conan Doyle's estate, attempting to curb use of the character by other authors, the wartime romance Wings, and Berlant's Puttin' on the Ritz. All right, I'm going to skip down to here to tell you guys about this one here. One of the most notable additions to the public domain this year is The Casebook of Sherlock Holmes, which contains Doyle's final Holmes stories. Though U.S. copyright law holds that the original version of a character enters the public domain when the work in which it appears does, even if it's the first in a series whose copyrights have not lapsed. Doyle's estate has at times pushed back against other creators' portrayals of Holmes in their work. That ends this year, now that the Casebook of Sherlock Holmes enters the public domain, according to the Center for the Study of Public Domain at Duke University. Holmes has been a part of the UK public domain since 2022. I'm going to show you guys, scroll down and show you some other things that enter the domain this year is movies like Metropolis, The Jazz Singer, Wings, The Lodger, The King of Kings, Upstreams. Books are going to be To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, Men Without Women by Ernest Hemingway. And the book that they're talking about here is the Casebook of Sherlock Holmes. And in terms of music, the best things in life are free. Actually, I've heard several different iterations of that song. And the Puttin' on the Ritz is there, as well as I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. So, Abomination AJ, I know that we kind of have glossed over this as well, but what are your thoughts on these seminal works of art being in the public domain? Or do you even read Sherlock Holmes to begin with, sir?
Fuck no.
You uncircumcised Philistine.
There you go. I was responding to Nosferatu. I thought those was tits as well on the side. Man, I don't read that. But you said they're putting on the Ritz, and that made me think of Baby Geniuses.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It was like Baby was
fashion sits putting on the wrist. He was jamming. He was hitting with that cane, the hat, the top hat, the diaper, just getting it.
All right, so that's all I know about that. But no, I don't. Don, what about you?
Yeah, it reminds me of Young Frankenstein, the putting on the Ritz. Have you guys seen Young Frankenstein?
I haven't watched all of it.
Long time ago.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. But this doesn't get me excited. The releases right now. Now, the public domain, it happens. Is it 100 years after?
I think it's like 95 for some of them. I think 195.
None of this stuff really gets me excited, but it has me more excited about things that are going to be coming up here soon, potentially. When we get, that's another thing. The U.S. copyright laws. I know some big businesses have been trying to really protect themselves from their characters like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, who clearly have already reached their 100-year anniversary, and same with Mickey Mouse and stuff like that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so I was trying to figure that out too, because they were telling me if you derive your style, a different version of the character from the original, you could try to push back that the copyright times on there. So that's why Steamboat Mickey, they let lapse, because they're like, well, our current iteration of Mickey is based on the version that came after that. So we'll let Steamboat Mickey for Disney lapse, but we're going to keep the mouse that we use now. It's a weird way of looking at it, because Tarzan's in the public domain, but you can't use Tarzan because it's copyrighted and trademarked. My bad for interrupting, man. I'm sorry.
But no, you're good. No, there's some that I don't think will reach it because there's really no motivation for Congress or other kind of big institutions to allow it to go into public domain if other big businesses are pumping money into them, saying like, hey, you should really let us keep this. Or there's like Pooh Bear hits public domain, but the particular Pooh Bear with Disney is going to be still underneath their copyright. So if you're going to do like what AJ had, his the classic Pooh Bear voice, I feel like that could be copyright. Be like, yeah, that's our voice. That's the way we do it. Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know how it works. I'm just saying like that you could potentially get in some kind of weird waters there. Yeah, because now we're in brand new territory here with voice acting, things hitting public domain. Because who's the original voice actor for Sherlock Holmes? Like, I don't know, just some random British voice. Like, how was he supposed to do him, right? So I don't know. It gets me excited, but at the same time, I really don't think you need things to hit public domain for you to make a good story. If anything, you should take. I think my understanding. I could be wrong. Okay, so it's hard to believe I could be wrong, but I could be wrong about this. My thought my understanding was Fight Club was originally I forgot what the author's name is. He was going to retell in his own version. The Great Gatsby for modern times, and he started changing things over and over again. And then I think it became that. So I'm not sure if that's true, but if that's the case, that's what you should do. You should just take a thing you want to make a fanfic of. And how many fanfics have there been made? Like
many.
50 Shades of Grey is a Twilight fanfic, right? You basically write a fanfic and then say like, I really don't like this part of it.
That's gross. Jesus.
Listen.
I'm sorry.
You're talking about the
50 Shades of Grey. Yeah. Good God. Oh, gross. Okay, never mind. Can't unsee that. Go ahead.
What you should do is just like, hey, I'm going to make a fanfic about the Justice League, and then eventually you start changing things. Add characters, make it more coherent with your story, and then eventually just change the universe, keep changing things. Eventually it will be unrecognizable, and you'll be able to tell your own story and have, like, I don't know, similar aspects to it, where you could say, like, oh, I can see where they're related here. But, yeah, you don't need these big names to I don't know, sell something big. Now, of course, it does kind of have the name recognition when you have like, Sherlock Holmes, Vampire Hunter. It's kind of like, yeah, it's very like, oh wow, Sherlock Holmes is now doing Vampire Hunting. Yeah. It is a name brand recognition, but other than that, that's the only thing you're getting from it. So I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree with that, and that's what I was saying with the. I wanted my race swap Tarzan story, but I was like, that's lazy. And I came up with something different. But recognizing those inspirations, and like I was saying with the crossover with the Cobra Kai and the Power Rangers, it's like, okay, what about this am I actually trying to like? What about this did I enjoy, and how can I get that same energy or like at least those same elements over here in this story, but it'd be something completely original. I do think that is a better way to go about doing things. But what do I know? I haven't put shit out like that. But and like what John was saying was like the public domain, you kind of milk that name. So the only reason I would see myself doing it is like the Pinocchio example, where I can't say what's his reasoning for doing it, but like I said, if you can take something that, especially something that like Disney made a big name, and you make a better version of that, then you've just basically shat up on that company yourself, and now you have the best adaptation of a story. They might have their best whatever, like those trademark, like Winnie the Pooh, for instance. Like, yeah, you might have the best little toy come to life, happy with kids thing, but then if you make a horror version of that, then you have the best of that genre or like that type of
that
story.
telling.
Yeah, you have the best telling of a story, which is, I think, merit in its own or something that you can be proud of. But I wouldn't want to be the guy that just made a better version of this story. Like, yeah, I would want to be known for original stories created.
I would say this: if it were up to me, I would still do public domain characters and do them the way Guillermo del Toro did for his Pinocchio. Get enough money and then start my own production company, and then everything that I've had brewing in the background that I've saved, that's my own IP, my intellectual property, I would put that on my own production company. Because I don't know if you've seen
Yeah.
it, like a lot of these actors nowadays, like in their bios, they put shit like I'm an actor, director, but the thing that they don't really tell you is producer. Like they've got their
Mhm.
own production company so they can put their own stuff out there. I know that
Yeah.
Matt Damon and I think George Clooney have their own production companies. And so, if you got a good idea, they'll take it and they'll put it and they'll take it to market using their name as cachet to get it produced, but to get it greenlit for Netflix, for Amazon, or just for Paramount or independent companies. So, I mean, for me, that's what I would do if I know that, hey, I know that what I want, they're going to have to see the value in it and it's going to be much further down the line
Yeah.
than now. So I'll just work with what I can use and remix it until I've got enough clout, cash, and cachet to actually put out what I actually want. Because I mean, like like I did the Tropic Thunder movie review. I didn't know that Ben Stiller had that sitting on the shelf for like 20 years.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But it was his, and I guess he got it greenlit because he had a big enough name. He could pull in enough actors of a certain caliber, and they trusted in the work for him to put out his original work.
Yeah. And yeah, I do agree with that. If you like, if you could come up with a great version of this story, then fuck it. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Go for it. And you can get, like you said, you can get those three things out of it and start you off to like making your own stuff. Like somebody who's working at like Marvel or DC or something. It's like, yeah, do your thing, write their books or do their work on their projects, but learn from that and get your ass out there and do your own thing instead of just being somebody's bitch
Bitch.
for the
I agree
whole,
on that one.
yeah, working on their project. Like go and do something on your own. And like I mentioned Kevin Grievous with
Oh,
his Underworld series, and I think he said that he wanted to do a Romeo and Juliet story, but it's like you take those elements of that story and then you turn it into something else. So he was like, it evolved into okay, werewolf versus vampire. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like this love story, but it was a lot of action in it and whatnot. So I think that's a great example of even though he didn't get writing credits because he said
he
like, what
did.
you trying? No, he didn't get creative credits.
Wow.
Because he was saying like he was just trying to get in the industry. So
Okay.
somebody else had to put their name on it, but he presented it to them. And then yeah, he was working at Marvel
Oh,
for
Marvel. Okay.
off and on. Like, yeah, he worked he created Blue Marvel, but then he worked on other characters. I forgot what, but it's like he was there off and on, but he's still working on his own stuff at the same time. And I'm definitely not mad or telling anybody like you shouldn't do that. Yeah, if it can give you a little boost, then why not? But like with that Underworld example, like, yeah, thinking of the elements, or what about these things that you want to attach yourselves to, you want to hold on to, and slowly, like you were saying, Don, turn that into something else to where you got your own original shit now, and you can profit off of that and profit like for years to come, possibly even after you're gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say with Kevin Greaves, I forget which book that he's actually got a comic that he made now. I don't know if it's like Ember's Moon, I think at this point. But I'm trying to look for it now. But if you guys ever get a chance, I'm pretty sure it's Ember's Moon by Kevin Greaves. Check that out. I'll double check to make sure because all I'm pulled up is really weird romance novels. So stand by, but keep going, man.
That's all I had to say on that.
Yeah, I mean, like if like your favorite content of all time, Lion King, is basically just Hamlet with lions, right? If you were to
or that Kimba story,
yeah, the Kimba,
the
which
white line.
yeah, which is not a ripoff. Lion King is not a ripoff. Kimba.
Yeah.
There's a great I forgot who did it. There's a great video breakdown on it. How it's not a ripoff, and anyone that says that is a cringe Redditor that's just like, hey, did you know this weird fact? This is stealing. It's like, shut the hell up. If you were to do like Game of Thrones, you're like, okay, yeah, but I'm just gonna make it with animals, and I start changing it up. Yeah, it becomes something totally different. I think you can do this, and that's probably the right way you should go about it, especially if you don't have a great idea at first right now, especially if you're trying to create new content. That's the way you should be doing it. It's a great way to get inspired, and if it doesn't go anywhere, just kill the story off and move on, right?
Yeah. So that was a funny comment with give the guard a werewolf garlic butter. That was in Day Shift. And that was something cool. Little small little world building shit, but it's actually useful. Where vampires, shout out to you, Nosferatu. We on your ass. We got you. Necklace in case you get wrong. But dude, he was like what is it? Garlic flavored gum or something.
Something like that.
And he was like, I chew it every time I go to hunt vampires. He was like, because then I can spit in their eye, and then they blind, and I can, fuck them up however I want to. What was the point of that? Was that just based off of that comment, or?
Yeah, so you went there, sir, not us. That was
okay. Damn, my bad. Damn, too much. There's so much hate towards Nosferatu. Damn. I guess because I was trying to make it with the, I guess, adapting something. And that's why I was saying, like, a lot of the characters on that list of like public domain characters, like, yes, you had those pagan gods, but like Don said, like Frankenstein, like the Wolfman, Dracula, the Mummy, all of those are public domain. So look, I'm not mad at anybody that's going to create a fucking Wolfman story or a Mummy story or some shit like that. But Day Shift was a great adaptation of an original, or like the Dracula like vampire concept, but turns that lore and turns it into their own thing that he's known for. So
and then also like being able to, like you're saying, when you have this universe of vampire hunting, but then they show it's almost like the Continental with John Wick, and that weird, like, it has a complex organization underneath it all, right? And it's very, like, has some bureaucracy in it, which I think is really funny. I think if you could mash, like, genres together, like, could you imagine, I don't know how you do it, like, a vampire office space, how you do it, but it could be funny. Like, you see the mockumentary style with What We Do in the Shadows with
that's hilarious. I love that show. That shit's so funny.
Right, so I think you can mash genres together too and get something brand new out of it.
Guillermo is my favorite. That dude's hilarious. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. That shit, like, that is, bro. Have you seen that show before?
No.
It is so fucking funny, bro. When they try to obtain power, and they go to local city council to do it, it's so funny, man.
We talking about vampires?
Yeah, it's What We Do in the Shadows, dude. It is. They're vampires, but they invite a crew in to show them what life is like as a vampire. The thing is like they've been in America for over 250, 300 years. And so they have a familiar named Guillermo, and Guillermo wants to be a vampire. So he's doing all this grunt shit work to do it. But later he finds out he's related to the direct bloodline Van Helsing. So he's an innate vampire killer. And so he winds up killing some vampires by accident. It is the funniest shit ever, dude. It is. You would love it, man. It's like it really is like The Office. It is some funny shit.
And you're saying this is a series?
Yeah,
this
it's a TV show on Hulu. It's on Hulu.
Oh, okay. I'll watch it.
All right, cool, sir. You need to. So we're gonna have to watch. We're gonna have to have you react to shows that you have not watched that I've mentioned, because we're gonna have to have a Yellowstone stream. That shit's happening, and now we're gonna have to probably do a What We Do in the Shadow stream as well, because you really like these are hilarious. You would like them.
I've said, bro, I've been in YouTube has been a blessing. I've been able to come in contact with a lot of you guys who know a lot of stuff, and I think I can make a lot of content just off of first time watching something that y'all have suggested. So yeah. Don, you was about to say something?
No, I was just gonna say like that you should definitely watch that show, and there's a movie too if you want to watch it that kickstarted the What We Do in the Shadows. That's why they made the TV show.
Okay.
And there are werewolves, if that's gonna be a selling point for you. They're not in it a lot, but it's
pretty. That shit was funny with the vampires too, man.
Possibly somebody tried to get me to watch True Blood, and when I saw those wolves like just take their pants off and just get naked and turn into a fucking dog, and I was like, I can't do this. So nah, it depends on, man. You got to do more werewolves, right? Now, John, I'm not saying John is calling you out, Don. But he says, you know who did rip off Pixar? At least 5 of their movies ripped off other properties.
I put that up there too. Like I told like, yo, you need to make a video about this because I didn't know.
Toy Story rips off
an
80s Muppet special called The Secret Life of Toys. The plot is almost identical. And Disney, and I say this, the Book of Life was a way better version of Disney's Coco. It came out before Coco, and apparently those dudes took their story to Disney, and Disney rejected it. So then they went and did it. I think it's DreamWorks. I don't know for sure. Y'all will know better than I will, but they went and did the Book of Life that has that whack animation style that I don't like, but it works over there, and it was an amazing movie. And then, of course, Disney comes out with Coco and beautiful visuals and nice songs and whatnot. But look, that's just what Disney does. So,
well, Johnny Douglas in the chat also says A Bug's Life is a fable. The ant and the grasshopper done with the same plot of the Seven Samurai. Yeah, so I mean, like then Disney's been ripping off everything. If they also did Pinocchio, like that's basically the story of Pinocchio, just made more kiddish than the original, like darker Grimm's kind of tale of it. But I don't know if you're gonna like take inspiration from big stories like the Seven Samurai and a fable that you're kind of similar to. I don't know if that's a ripoff, right? Then
I got
adaptation. You. But I know what he's saying though with the Secret Life of Toys. That's way more closer and not as like out there in the whatever pop culture that you could just go, oh yeah, I'm just taking inspiration. It's like, no, that's like an exact copy, and you're not even calling it like with the grasshopper and the ants. You're calling it Bug's Life, so it's very similar. Anyways, but,
I was gonna say, whatchamacallit, who said this? I know Zach said Tulsa King is very good. I used to live in Oklahoma, and it's pretty damn spot on. I mean, he operates on the outskirts of Tulsa, but yeah, the shit you see in there, it's exact. Sorry, I digress. But the other thing is, I know that you were talking about how Thor: Love and Thunder failed, but Taika Waititi did What We Do in the Shadows. That's actually like that's his actual kind of comedy. Like that's what like Zach said, that is his wheelhouse. That's what he did. So basically, they didn't tell you, but he did like an epic fantasy. I think it was Lord of the Rings. I forget how he was involved in it, but they actually stole props from that movie and they used them in What We Do in the Shadows.
So, and I don't really pay too much attention to like the directors and whatnot. So, are you saying that Taika shines when he's making fun of something?
Yes, he shines when he's doing either a parody of something or something where it's trying to let you in on a joke. He can't make something serious and then spin a comedic angle on it, because all it is like, did you really? And after a while, that gets old. But with making a mockumentary, that's where he really shines. So they used to do documentaries in the past, like CB4 and stuff like that, but he does a really good job at saying, hey, here's a concept that you want to make fun of, go. And then he can kind of pick and choose different things within that freedom to make fun of, and he's a really good job with what we do in the shadows.
Okay, so like Reno 911.
Kinda, yeah.
Like,
is that a mockumentary?
Yeah, like The Office, where it's like, hey, I'm looking at the camera, I'm talking, I know
it's
breaking the fourth wall here a little bit.
There's literally a documentary crew. Yeah, you would love it. What? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, there was something else. Oh shoot, I think I just forgot it. There's something else I wanted to say about. Go ahead, you go.
I was gonna say, did you ever watch? You didn't watch the IT Crowd, did you?
No.
Okay, shit, that doesn't work.
I was gonna say Jojo Rabbit is probably his best movie.
That was Taika Waititi too.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like Jojo Rabbit a lot.
Ooh, that's your boy now.
I haven't seen it. But like even Justin Ice and other people are telling like, yo, it was really good trying to explain like World War II in parts, but still keep it comedic and light, but a slight dark turn. Then it goes a certain way. But yeah, I think if you don't give him an established IP, or you just say, here's a concept, run with it, he does really good with that. I'm thinking that's the thing with a lot of people is the fact that I have a corporate job, right? I try to find freedom within that framework of a corporate job, but a lot of people don't do so well when they get, that corporate hiring. Like being a director for Marvel is a big deal. And they've got a specific framework that they want you to work within. And if you deviate that within in any way, not only will they probably pull you from the project, but they'll trash the hell out of you too. And so with being that constrained, it's no wonder Love and Thunder kind of ended up the way it did. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
All right. Our next article, man, that's still on you, Ego, because that's your boy, James Gunn.
It's the homie, JG.
The homie.
Quick.
That my dog.
That's my dog. All right, let me do it right here. All right.
I'm dropping the links to these guys' channels, people.
It kind of focuses on Chris Pratt in this article, but I'll get to the main point on here too. All right, this is from the Direct. Chris Pratt will probably join new DC Universe, says James Gunn. All right, so DC Studios CEO James Gunn revealed he expects Chris Pratt and other members of the Guardians of the Galaxy cast to join his new DCU slate. Gunn spent much of the last decade working in the superhero game, and he has made plenty of friends along the way and the talent he has collaborated with at both Marvel and DC. The Guardians of the Galaxy cast particularly has turned into something of a family, both on and off the screen. I'm going to jump down to where it is right here that he actually is being quoted as saying. I think this is, I checked, I think this is like an Instagram thing that I saw in here. But so Gunn listed off several actors from his Guardians of the cast as being like Insecure, his family, before revealing that he expects to reunite with them down the line, probably at his other job as DC Studio CEO. Quote, this cast are like my family. I cannot tell you how close I am to Chris Pratt and Palm Clementieff, I think she was the one with the antennae, and Dave Bautista, and Zoe Saldana, and Karen Gillan. But I also know I will work again with all those people individually again, probably at my other job. The director also noted that while finishing off Guardians Volume 3 is currently his day job, planning out his DCU slate has been more of a very healthy part-time job that's at least another 40 to 60 hours a week. So I was talking with Abomination when I talked about this, and we were trying to kind of fan cast who we would want our each character to be in the DC universe. And so, Abomination, did you want to just throw this to the chat, or did you want to just answer it ourselves and then throw it to the chat?
I mean, you there? Ask the chat. I mean, you just kind of just said it. So, chat. Okay. So this is the thing. You were asking for like real fan casting, and Don does the cursed casting.
We'll get one of both, man. Both.
I don't really know actors like that, so I'm just gonna leave it up to y'all and everybody else. Okay. Like I might give my input, but whichever way y'all want to take it, either great casting or cursed casting.
I've got this. Okay, before you give me cursed casting, Don, you want to do one for one. I give you Chris Pratt. I give you fan casting. You give me cursed casting. That work?
I'm gonna try to think on the fly here, cursed casting. But go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Or how do you usually set up your curse casting? Give me the rundown on that one. I just want to double check.
Well, the curse casting is just like, and it works kind of better if you kind of think about it a little bit. Like what Zach has here, like Chris Pratt as Green Arrow. It's like, I don't know if I'd like that.
Okay.
It's supposed to be something similar enough that you could see Hollywood doing, but just like, I don't like that.
Fucking
like Keanu
Okay.
Reeves in as like Aragorn or something, a movie you guys really don't like, Lord of the Rings. But it's like, oh, dude, he needs the acting chops and he needs to deliver these lines, but like, oh, he's
Can't do it.
he's just or like Nicholas
Okay.
Nicholas Cage as some guy on here. Yeah, that'd be awful.
Nicholas
Okay.
Cage as Ghost Rider was curse casting.
I was
No,
gonna
it
say
was
he's
not.
gonna be.
That is
He's
not.
gonna.
Fake
He did
news,
a good job.
AJ.
He did a good job. He's
He
gonna be a
did, and I
vampire.
loved him.
Bro, he's gonna be a vampire in the next movie. It's pretty. I heard he's gonna be pretty good as a vampire in the next movie. But anyway, so if I've got Chris Pratt, my fan casting for Chris Pratt is Booster Gold. Hear me out. You got a lot of issues with different universes and different castings, and no one knows which is the current universe in which you're in. Right? If you do Booster Gold, it works exactly like you would as him being Star-Lord. He's he winds up being a disgraced athlete in like the 25th or so century, right? And he actually takes a job as like security for a museum. In the museum is a actual suit and like a time machine. So he's like, well, if I go back to what would be our present, I can actually be a superhero and get like hella money. I'm gonna take this robot named Skeets, Dan White Bear, and we're gonna go back in time and we're going to get this money. He winds up not kind of being taken seriously, but winds up kind of becoming, oh my god, that's hilarious. Becoming a hero. Also, my favorite part of this is, and me and Justin Ice were talking about this. You have a scene where Booster goes back in times, kind of messes up the timeline, and you see Jason Momoa as Aquaman and Jason Momoa as Lobo. And actually, I think yesterday, he did say that he will continue to be Aquaman, but also have freedom within James Gunn's universe to be a quote unquote savage and charming character in the future. So picture it: Lobo, Jason Momoa; Aquaman, Jason Momoa. The main man says you look familiar. My man, I like your hair. I dig it. All right, and they walk off. It would be perfect to acknowledge that, hey, there's some inconsistencies with this universe, but we know there's inconsistencies in this universe, and it's actually kind of funny now. Done. This is what you should have done instead of making Flashpoint. This actually is a better version of it. Gets rid of Ezra Miller entirely if you're not a big Ezra Miller fan, and you actually have Chris Pratt playing the person he always is. Kind of funny in a weird kind of way, kind of a dummy, but still likable. So Don, give me a curse casting on this then, man.
Mark Ruffalo as Batman.
God damn it.
That doesn't work. Curse casting is supposed to work.
It's supposed to work a little bit. Okay, well, okay, so he couldn't work. A curse casting that would potentially work. That's like right there.
If you need more time, let me go. I got one. I don't have a curse casting. I don't know. Shia LaBeouf as Wally West, Kid Flash.
Actually could work.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think
it's
his
hard because
curse.
he's not like a kid anymore, Shia LaBeouf. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
But I think he could still play a young hero, like Young Justice area. I think he could do that.
Owen Wilson as your Booster Gold would be kind of curse casting. He could almost do it, right?
Back in time? Wow.
Look at how everything's changed.
No, look. Once they tell them, like, what was that movie? Like the Night at the Museum, as those guys are like telling them about all the little artifacts and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so some security guards tell them, so this is a time travel suit. He's like, time travel? Wow. And he just thinking.
Shit. Oh,
what about Danny Trejo as Bizarro? He is like that weird.
So we was thinking about Dave Bautista could play Bizarro.
No way. Dave Bautista?
I mean, it's the same character he plays as Drax, more or less.
Kinda, yeah. Well, yeah, he does play that. I agree.
But the you say he wasn't gonna do Drax anymore because that was more comedic. So I think
And
if you
the
tell
Jewish
him,
makeup.
I think if you tell him he's about to be a badass, like luchador, this wrestler dude, if he's going to be Bane, and then like you said, no makeup, just throw the mask on. He already knows how to fucking wrestle. I think that'll
the actual Venezuelan version. Yes, I'm cool with that. That shit works. I watched it. Okay, so if you tell me Batista would be Bane in Matt Reeves' Batman Part 2, I'll watch that. Because Hush is not going to do it for me. Like any of these other versions you're telling is not going to work because we just did the total deconstruction of Batman. It makes him a shitty person. God damn it, John Douglas. Stop it. Stop it right now.
So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking Ellen Page could do Kid Flash, but then I was like, nah, Ellen Page could do more of Impulse. Then I was like, fuck it. Let me go with a serious one. I like Shia LaBeouf a lot.
Yeah, you can get the cast back together from Super, which is a James Gunn movie where you have Elliot Page as Superman, and then you have Rainn Wilson as Lex Luthor.
I was supposed to say Juno. I'm just gonna say Juno every time. Nosferatu said Vince Vaughn as Professor X. Yes.
Why are we gonna do that? You gotta do that, bastard. I can see my telepathic surprise right now.
Look, no, Vince Vaughn as Colossus. And he's talking to Kitty Pryde. He's like, yeah, you want to face through it? Go ahead, face through it. Take me with you, baby. I want to go on that ride with you. Let's see where it goes. What's on the other side of the wall? Vince Vaughn, bro. Colossus. Oh shit.
Man. Oh damn. Well, this is turn. I didn't know I was gonna turn. This is funny. I would say okay. I got so I know if we're going original, we have Bradley Cooper, the MCU, fucking Detective Chimp. Chimp. Or
who is Detective Chimp?
Literally a monkey that winds up drinking from like the same pool that gives him consciousness, and he's almost on the same level as
no, I was saying who plays him. Who you say?
Bradley Cooper.
Oh, Bradley Cooper. Okay.
So basically, it's just a voice to an actual animal. So if we're changing that to DCU, he'd be Detective Chimp to me. So it's like he's actually pretty damn smart. And if we're going with, I don't want to race swap it, but if you have to put Zoe Zadania in the DCU, then I'm gonna have to make her Zatanna. I think she would have the acting chops for it. I don't know where else to put her.
Yeah, and
I can't put her anywhere else.
And the sex appeal. I said, of course, if she does, like, she's not just the hottest person to me. Like I said, she has sex appeal. She's not my type, but I know it's there. I was telling you maybe Onyx because she would have to shave her head. But I was saying like the Batman Under the Red Hood was one of the first Batman graphic novels that I read, and Onyx was introduced to me in that graphic novel. She was already established, and she was doing something with Red Hood. Or was it Batman? I forget. But I'm like, maybe her as Onyx could work. Maybe. But for that movie, for that story, who would be Jason Todd?
The thing is like you have to get someone young and angry. The only person I can think of, and this is also the part of the appeal of Cobra Kai is because they're so young. They could be anyone in the DCU. For me, I make the character of Robbie King your Jason Todd.
Yeah,
he's got the anger down pretty well.
But he doesn't have the height.
How do you know? How tall is he?
I don't know. He looks pretty short.
Bro, okay, hold up, bro. Let me do it. Let's do this. Hold on.
And if the Solo, whatever his name is, if he wasn't Blue Beetle, then I would like him as Aqualad.
Bro, okay, hold on. The dude's 24 years old. Hold on, let me look up. Tanner Buchanan, right?
Dude looks short though. He look around the same height as the girl.
Oh, this motherfucker's my height. God damn. I see you, sir. Represent. We stand tall up in these streets. Okay.
Okay. Not literally. So his ass cannot be Red Hood.
Don't do that.
You got to be imposing to be Red Hood.
Give this man some black Timberlands, and it's all a go. He'll least 5'8.5". Don't do this. Don't tread on our dreams, sir. Why you gotta do this to people that are under 5'7"? Why you gotta be like that?
Bro,
why you gotta be a hater?
I'm 5'7".
I'm under 5'7", so give me this, man.
Okay.
Give me this.
Look at that. Dre Robinson like 5'4". Mike B. Jordan is Red Hood. Now look.
He could be an angle. But he'd be Killmonger.
but
He'd
for
still be
reason,
Killmonger.
but for reasons besides social political. And he has a helmet on, so you wouldn't see him a lot of the time.
Bullshit. You know they got bro. You
I
saw what
know.
happened with by the time that Spider-Man 3 came on, Tobey Maguire had it in his contract. I have to be unmasked at least 50% of the time.
What's up, Raya? And tell me how to pronounce it. Raya? I don't know. Disney said Raya, so they probably just want to be different.
What about
Huh?
Luis Guzman as the Penguin? Your favorite
Oh,
guy
yeah.
from...
Oh, yeah.
I can rock with that. I rock with that.
I don't know if I like it, but it fits for a second, right? You're like, oh, yeah, but it's like, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Clayface. His face already looks like it's kind of melting. So I think
why you do that man like that?
I'm just saying.
Face?
He already looked like some things moving. So go ahead and CGI that bad boy. Go ahead and give him the drip, and now he's a clay monster. I think that'll be better casting for him.
No.
I like Ron Perlman as Clayface. He has a great voice. And also looks like his face is melting or like weird things are happening to it.
So that was the thing. I was trying to think about, okay, Luis Guzman has the face, but he doesn't have the voice for a Clayface. And Ron Perlman has both. So I give you that one.
Ron Perlman. That works. Okay. I was going to say I would probably have Michael Pena reprise his role that he played in Ant-Man as Jimmy Olsen in Superman. That's the only way I'll accept the race swap.
Okay.
Check it out. Homie, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was like, I can imagine him breaking out a whole plot of the movie. So Perry, listen, man, we went over here, and then Lois got this, but then my homie Chachi told me the Superman was over Metropolis, but then he was in Gotham. We got to see what's going on. I'll take it. That'll be great for me. But go ahead, Don, man. Go ahead. What you got?
I was gonna say, I want to know the chat's thought on this. What do you for real casting here? What do you think about Kiefer Sutherland as Commissioner Gordon?
I got to look up Kiefer Sutherland.
Get his Jack Bauer acting chops back up. He could be way more in the front line than he used to be.
Can he? You think? I mean, do you dye his hair orange and give him the mustache or no?
Oh yeah, you give him the mustache. I don't know if it's you can just give it kind of like the dirty. Here he has blonde hair. He's still like dirty blonde. Make it a little more gray.
Y'all know how they say the black bald head dude is evil Dave Chappelle. That I don't know his name. I don't know. Anyway, if people in the chat, if you know who I'm talking about, so there's a dude who they just call evil Dave Chappelle. This Kiefer Sutherland dude looks like probably the light version of Bruce Willis. Like Bruce Willis, the evil version. He's the good version.
Yeah. Oh, Tripe, my favorite male commenter here on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're saying Kiefer as Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon, yeah.
Yeah. I could see that. I would need a mustache though.
I need a mustache too.
Oh yeah, you need the mustache.
Yeah, I need the whole look.
Do you know who could do it? Which I'd hate, but Billy Bob Thornton. Oh, I would hate him for Commissioner Gordon. I do not like Billy Bob Thornton at all. But
I like him.
You do? I don't.
Yeah,
he's weird. He could do it. He could do it though. But damn, he really could do it.
Who would Damn, what's that actor's name? David Spade. Who is David Spade in the DCEU?
No, David Spade in the DC.
Who's David Spade?
Mixelplick.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
Okay, Mixelplick is from the Fifth Dimension. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Don. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
Oh, the little short dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Nah, I see David Spade.
Condiment King.
I'm thinking Scarecrow.
Oh, hell no! Ain't no one scared of David Spade. What? No. Joe Dirt. No. Ain't no fucking scared of him. No. Stop.
Drugs, hallucinogens.
No. But they scare you. David Spade would be like a funny acid trip. No, there's no way.
Exactly. That would scare a lot of people.
No.
All right, bro. All right. My adaptation, David Spade, a Scarecrow.
Don, what would you said? Condiment King. I'm okay with Condiment King. That makes sense to me. That'd be funny.
Yeah, make him look kind of a funny villain, kind of like they did with, like Polka Dot Man. This is what I like about James Gunn too, is he embraces what comics are. He doesn't try to make comics into, like, as much as I appreciate Christopher Nolan's adaptation of Batman and how great it was, but he really took Batman's like, hey, what if I made him real? What if I grounded him in our reality, made him as like realistic as possible, as good as and enjoyable as it was. I like it when people just go, yeah, Mr. Mixoplex and Batmite, let's bring them in and let's actually go where comics are, not bring comics to where we are. So I enjoy the way James Gunn does things and what he brings in Polka Dot Man. I think he changes his powers just a little bit in the Suicide Squad. But I love that. I'm excited for James Gunn, even though he's moving away from Henry Cavill, who I love a lot. Yeah. But I'm excited. There's enough good actors around. And for all we know, let's just pretend that they have like some weird beef between each other. He still he loves Chris Pratt. And if you want to say he's politically driven, I don't know if you can say that if he loves Chris Pratt. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm I'm a big Chris Pratt fan. Chris Pratt was my first I would say acknowledged those when I had an epiphany that I actually have a man crush. It was Chris.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, Chris Pratt.
Okay, all right.
It was Jurassic World. I don't know if I saw him I think I saw him in the movie before that. Oh yeah, it was Guardians. So Guardians was one of the this is early MCU. That was one of the only and first movies. I'm gonna say one of the only movies that I actually own from the MCU. Digital, so I mean you could argue that, but I was like, that's a great movie. I wanted to buy it. But Chris Pratt, I think, is fucking amazing. So you saying as Booster Gold, most definitely, but I'm a normie. I didn't learn about Booster Gold until was it Batman Brave and the Bold or was it DC Universe Online?
It would have been it would have been a Justice League Unlimited episode, The Greatest History Never Told.
Okay, maybe the
greatest story never told.
I wasn't so invested in the Unlimited. I know it was great. Okay, I was just not a big DC dude. But yeah, I think Chris Pratt, that's perfect casting. I think him as Booster Gold. I think he already has the personality. I know a lot of people are tired of seeing people who act like themselves, but it fucking works in a lot of cases. Like I was saying with Nick Cage, I love his Ghost Rider. Okay, Don posted the shot with him and who is it? Sam Nielsen? Sam Elliott. Him and the Ghost Rider horse, that was dope. And
I did like that. I like that too.
I think that movie, I was saying the supernatural elements, the darker tone, but that movie made me feel like I was watching not live action, like I was in comic book world. It took me there. So yeah, I love that movie. I don't know. I got there from Chris Pratt, but actors being themselves. Yeah, let Chris Pratt find a character that lets him be him. The same way with Jason Momoa being fucking Lobo. He looks like it and he can act like it. Is fucking perfect.
Can you imagine? I think who's his name? Chadwick Boseman. He auditioned for Drax when Guardians was coming out. He auditioned, and they liked his audition. It just wasn't what the character they kind of wanted, and that's when they brought him back. There's I don't know if it's a documentary or what, for the Marvel behind the scenes casting, and this one lady's behind a ton of the casting for them, and because I don't think James Gunn was fully sold on Chris Pratt when they said, yeah, we should bring him in. I think he could knock it out of the park, and he's like, I don't know, and then he read the lines for him, and he's like, okay, I think this could work. This one person behind the scenes did a lot of connecting the dots for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I was going to say another cursed casting. Pete Davidson as the Flash would be a good.
Do not speak that blasphemy in the House of Flash. Do not, sir. You will not disrespect.
Reverse Flash.
Reverse Flash.
No, because
lean into it. Lean into it.
It's always gonna be I fucked Iris West, and that's it. And run away.
It's well, I guess I can kill him now, or I'll just go into the past and just do it when he's a fucking kid. It'll be easy.
No.
But isn't it awesome? The Suicide Squad gave us one of the most satisfying deaths on screen. Pete Davidson gets nailed in the face with I don't know what it was, if it was a bullet or what, but that was so satisfying. Thank you, James Gunn.
Was that the second one?
Yeah, one, the Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't watch the second one. Yeah. You said what? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you haven't watched the Suicide Squad?
What's the first one?
Suicide Squad.
I watched Suicide Squad with Will Smith.
Okay, now you saw the first one. You didn't see the second.
Yeah.
Right, I didn't watch the second one.
Why not?
So I should watch the second one.
Not a fan of the Suicide Squad already, and then I felt like the first one was carried by Will Smith. Will Smith is not in the second one, so I felt like it wouldn't do as well, or
Do
wouldn't be
you?
as could have been a
Why
movie.
don't you? Why don't you like? Okay, I'm sorry. No, Homelander as Reverse Flash, that actually works. If you're telling me that he's Reverse Flash, or even hell, Hunter Zolomon, if you want to go the Wally West route, I'm in. Sorry, but go ahead.
Are you saying Homelander or the dude who plays
The
Homelander?
dude who plays Homelander.
Yeah, Anthony
Oh, okay.
Starr.
He would
Oh
make
yeah,
sense as Reverse Flash. He'd be great.
way better. And that's funny because I was like, yeah, take whatever way you want. I gotta watch the new one. Is that the Suicide Squad?
No, the Suicide Squad, yeah. But I mean, for me, it's like, well, that's the part of the problem I'm having with having to watch the Flash movie that's coming out. I don't care what you say. I'm still gonna watch the movie. You know, Ezra Miller bad behavior aside, because we've never actually had a movie for us Flash fans. So I'm gonna see the shit. Fuck you. The only problem I have is the fact that for these studios, it seems that their version of playing the bad version of you is literally you wearing the opposite colors instead of actually asking someone else to play the mirror version of you that's not you. Reverse Flash does not look exactly like Barry Allen. He's someone that's actually seriously invested with turning him into the hero that he thinks he should be by taking away the thing that Barry would deem as very precious to him, which is his family. And so that could be anybody. That could be a super fan saying, "Hey, you're not the hero you need to be, so I got to go back and fix this for you." And like that actually demands someone outside of the character that we're actually following. Because if you have a super fan or someone that thinks that you need to be better, who else have we seen be these crazy fans that say, "Hey, you're the only first person for me," or "You could be better if only this or if only that." So I'm still having trouble understanding how they want to make Ezra Miller play both the Flash and Reverse Flash. And in part, I kind of hold WB partly responsible for making this motherfucker kind of crazy to begin with. You got him playing two to three people already. What the fuck you think is gonna happen? I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna address the chat because y'all talking about Bloodsport. Now I have seen Bloodsport.
I love that. It's great.
Do I love it? I'm not gonna say I loved it, and I watched it like back in the day. So
no. They're talking about the character Bloodsport and the Suicide Squad.
Oh,
yeah, Bloodsport.
Who the fuck is that?
Idris Elba's character.
I was about to say, is that Idris Elba? It sounds like the character he should be playing. All right,
yeah, it's good.
Damn.
And if you
So
don't watch it,
pretty
I'm
good.
going to lead a mass flagging campaign against your channel. Take it down.
You really should watch, sir.
Do it.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
it.
Look, y'all want me to watch it? Fine, fuck it. I'll watch it. I'm getting nothing out of it just to watch it though. So, but all right, Idris Elba he's great some places, not so much others. I take that back. I think my only issue with Idris Elba is just Knuckles. What you saying about Trip?
Oh, it's just she said Timothy Oliphant as Batman. Yeah, I don't know if I like him as Batman. I love the actor Timothy Oliphant.
He's
I wish
really
he was in
good.
some things more than I don't know that he's been in. I want to see a good.
He could be the Question.
I was about to say The Question. Yeah, I want to see a good adaptation of The Question. We have not seen that on screen. It is like, especially for more so, I'd say the more red-pilled side of the aisle. And it doesn't have to be left or right, but people that believe there's bigger works or bigger, organizations, motivations at play within our world. The Question is the perfect one for it. So he's basically like Alex Jones with a noir
with a mask.
Coat and
Yeah.
mask. Yeah. That's basically all he is. He's like, there's not conspiracies. There's a conspiracy. There's like a single conspiracy. It's like, he's awesome.
And all of this play into the this one conspiracy is all together.
Yep.
Okay. And then they was talking about I need to watch Terminal List. Now I'm just not one for like the military movies. Really.
Wow.
It is, and
fuck
it
our
isn't,
troops,
though,
right?
man.
AJ, go ahead. Fuck them.
Look, they better men than me, because I couldn't do it. But it's not.
I'm gonna hear your point. Go ahead.
I would watch it. Like I enjoyed Black Hawk Down. I enjoyed it was some other ones. What somebody said Schindler's List. Was I listening to y'all, Don? Not exactly a war movie, but you know what I'm saying? Like I will watch those, but and some of them are like entertaining to me or watchable, but I was more so I like Chris Pratt. I'm a big fan of the Jurassic World, but Jurassic Park. So, and by me training dogs, seeing him like working with those raptors, and was like going against the government, like, no, you can't use them for like weapons, like they're animals. Like, I loved all of that shit. And I'm going to my Jurassic because I'm working on the Jurassic franchise video. In the direction that I think that fucking movie, the last two should have went was some organization creating those hybrids. Like if you play the game, I'm kind of going off the rails here, but this is Chris Pratt, okay? The game's going to like the Dr. Wu's hybrid. So he started putting dinosaurs together and creating like these super dinosaurs. And I think that would have been a better way to go, like just go crazy with it. And Chris Pratt actually, because of the raptors that he was working with, they all died except Blue. Well, in the scene from the last one, I think Jurassic World Dominion, I think they were the Atrociraptors or whatever, but he was riding on a motorcycle. And I thought it was going to be like some battle of like these more natural dinosaurs against Dr. Wu's hybrids. And he was going to be riding a fucking motorcycle and he was going to have this raptor squad. Like he finally perfected it. He's finally been hanging with them, him and Blue, like A1. And they was going to go fight these evil dinosaurs in this evil military group. And then his daughter, the clone, I thought she was going to have some type of psychic link to the dinosaurs and she was going to be the better version of him, but not a Mary Sue, but that it worked because she was a clone and that she could actually like speak and like talk to him. So like as the dinosaurs are going crazy, like going all over the world, Chris Pratt can like talk to him and be like the animal behaviors, but she's actually like, come on, chill out, little buddy. We here to help you. Let me walk you over here into this new environment. Like, trust these people. And then you see her in the end in the big battle where good dinosaurs versus bad, and she's riding on some big ass like T-Rex, maybe the one that killed the mosasaur, because she just badass like that. And he on the motorcycle, vroom vroom. And then you see the raptors come next to him, and then he give a little sign. Like, what if it's like Hunger Games? He did a little whistle. I can't whistle, and then they just go after it and start killing soldiers. That would have been fucking best Jurassic World movie fucking ever. All right. I just went there for a minute. I'm sorry. I've been thinking about this for a long
gotta go.
time.
AJ gotta go clean off after that one.
Bro, big dinosaur battle, man. I need that shit.
So, hey, you check in the chat. John Douglas says, "Hey, if you're gonna do a Jurassic Park live stream, please bring him on. I want to hear the history of that franchise. We're gonna have to do that one day."
Okay, but that was my Chris Pratt. That's why the man crush thing happened, because it looked like how I look with them dogs, running with them dogs. That's how he looked with them raptors, and I was like, yeah, I need all of this.
This motherfucker put his head on Chris Pratt's body and said, "Me,
that's me." Represent that. There you go. But damn, y'all, yeah. AJ chair is soaked, bro. I was rocking back and forth. Y'all sound like AJ need but that's what I mean. Like missed opportunity here. All right, let's go turn this into something else. But all right, I'm gonna shut up now because I still see Chris Pratt as that. Okay, Jurassic World Dominion didn't happen. Fallen Kingdom, it fell short.
Well, you know what? It kind of reminds me when you're talking about that, just like awesome animal battles. That's what I wanted Godzilla versus King Kong to be, just an awesome battle like that. And too much of it, I just hate when they bring in so many, like, oh, we're going to have the humans involved, and we got to give people, stakes here with, make them feel like, oh, what is this little girl's motivation? I don't fucking care about the little girl. I don't even care if she gets fucking stomped by King Kong. King Kong needs to beat the shit out of Godzilla. USA.
No, I don't. Yes. I don't think so. Fuck no.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Are we really talking about Godzilla versus King Kong right now? You want me to prove this to you?
I'm literally talking about just monster fights, and like what you were saying about big CGI fights. Yeah, I want that too. Just don't fucking pollute it with I'm was it
the human little girl
Brown, and I'm doing a podcast, and there's this whole motivation in here. I'm like, shut the fuck up. No one cares about that shit.
Yeah, I get that. And then you said, I just want to see King Kong beat the shit out of Godzilla. And I guess you were just saying just them fighting, but I got defensive and was like, hold on, are you saying that King Kong would actually beat the shit out of Godzilla? That's all I'm saying.
I haven't put money on it. I don't think so, because King Kong doesn't have those extra abilities. That's why he got that cool axe in this one, or is able to channel in some of whatever is with nuclear breath that Godzilla has. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought we was about to get into a fucking nerd fight just then, but no, I would definitely feel you. And that's why I say the Sonic movies suck. It's like all this fucking human involvement when they don't need to be, and they take away from the story of the actual characters. Like for sure, like with the Godzilla and King Kong, it would have been great to go into the past and see these monsters where they ruled and they actually did fight one another. But now they're telling the story like present day, to where they, they don't really even come in contact, and then of course humans get in the way, and you want to see humans just die along the way, man. Just give me real what this shit really would be. Lofty talks a lot about Pacific Rim, and I think that's another example of like a missed opportunity of Hollywood, where somebody can come in and like make that story, because the kaiju, they sucked.
The first one?
Yeah, both times. Besides,
no, get the fuck out of here. The first one was trash.
Yeah.
Get all the way out.
But besides the visuals,
no.
The fact that two people are in this goddamn suit and have to basically like fusion dance this shit, it's fucking retarded.
No, it's not, sir. It's teamwork. Hold on. Don't you dare give me that look.
That's not even possible. That's like
it's a mind link, fool.
Okay, it's still a body link. We still got to do all like. Why are we doing that as opposed to just putting the person in the fucking?
It's a big ass robot.
Gundam did it.
So contrived. Like, well, it's a big robot, so you need two brains, but the two brains need to work together. I'm like, why don't we need any fucking brains? It's a fucking big robot.
It's a big robot. Gundam. This is another
Philistines.
This is another example.
This is another foreskin on the table here.
Exactly. When it's not even here to be in this conversation.
No.
This is another example of the East doing better than the West when it comes to portraying this shit. It takes one person for a fucking Gundam, and they out in space destroying shit. So when it comes to shitty ass Americans, we gotta, what Don said, two of us mind link because it's just so big.
Too much strain on the body.
Well, you know how you do that in a fantasy world? You create some fucking juice that they inject in themselves. Now they can handle it. Bam, we passed that.
It was
we passed that.
They didn't have no time.
Fucking what's that? There's an anime Akame ga Kill.
Hold up.
You said what?
No.
I agree with you, AJ. Like this is so convoluted, the reasoning for it. It's like it's a big thing. You need two brains. Like, okay, well, if it had a fucking 18-inch dildo to operate it too, would you just be okay with that? No, you go like that's stupid.
If you can put it in the story, I'm gonna roll with it.
Yeah, it needs every aspect of it needs every muscle in your body. It's a big robot. You can leave the 18-inch dildo aside.
You motherfuckers watched 5 motherfuckers in a Zord.
And they didn't have to move
time and shit.
And they didn't have to move at the same time. Everybody operated their own thing. But with that's the Megazord. But they also had their individual Zords, which Pacific Rim could have done that. Okay, these are our team. These are our team mechs. And here are our little ones where one person can fit. But you can still get in there and like bite an arm, bite a leg or something.
We're not going to see eye to eye on this, man. No, absolutely not. No,
look,
there's no way.
That's why you can't take this man seriously, because he's only looking with half of his vision. So if he says something good, it's like, bro, you're not seeing all of this bad shit that's happening.
Pacific Rim is, I will say, it is kind of trash. It has a great concept, but it is not good. It's not good.
Oh man, no, fuck that movie. This is the nerdiest argument I've had in a minute. I've heard in a hot minute. Nerd fight. Yeah, I thought Don was about to get this smoke with Godzilla versus Kong.
Hold on.
Well, hold on, but hold on. The chat, real quick, before you go. Chat, I want them to say, are they pro or anti Pacific Rim, or like the two brain, whatever stupid concept? Go ahead, Ego.
They're loving it for the most part.
All I'm saying is this.
I'm disappointed in you, chat.
No. Just chat's disappointed in you. You telling me you've never heard a story where someone says we thought it would come from the stars, but it came from our own earth. It came from the waters, and it came up against us. Every nation that was against each other said we're gonna band together and fuck up these monsters. We gotta build a kaiju. We gotta do it fast. So we built the technology too fast for our brains to keep up. So hey, you operate your half, I operate my half. We're gonna have to get a mind link. I know you ain't on that bullshit because you watch Justice League, what's Young Justice, and you watch McGann link up 5 or 6 people, and you was cool with it. But you can't link up 2 people to be in a kaiju to win a war for the planet Earth.
Those
You
are
telling
two
me?
totally different things.
No, they are not, sir.
They are two totally different things. Everybody being connected telepathically, as opposed to 2 people's mental link being linked to their bodies, and we have to physically operate this damn thing. So you got 2 people moving individual of one another, yet they're operating one body, and that just makes sense.
And no, there is absolutely
as opposed to, again, that's what I mean by with
Christmas at all.
This,
now.
If it's gonna
Christmas
be shit like this, if it's gonna be shit like this,
what? Like what? Don't even.
If it's gonna continue to be shit like this,
you know what? When we get hit with a snowstorm, I want that shit back. Be cold.
That ain't gonna help. That shit gonna blow off in my head.
Be cold. No, you're gonna be cold by yourself. Okay, all right.
Look, when a writer can easily say, it only takes one person. If they would have said that, bro, you would have accepted it. You and everybody in the chat would have just accepted it, and it would have been fine. And we would have made more room for storytelling because we didn't have to bypass that bullshit. Now, I was saying, and in anime, a kame got killed. If you drink the blood of these monsters, pretty much people die. You had this girl, this female, Lady Esdeath. She drunk it and she was able to take their powers and she was able to use it. She was a badass because of that. She was a badass before that. This man in here is super late.
No, man, he heard the signal. Nah,
yeah.
Man, what you got? What you got, man?
Yeah, I'm super late. I got a few minutes here, guys, but I wanted to come in because I heard Ego talking about something coming out of the depths and coming all over you or whatever, and I thought
wrong thing.
I had to join the show.
Come on, man.
What are we talking about?
More of that energy.
You see Pacific Rim, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So the beef now is the fact that he said Pacific Rim was trash. I was like, Pacific Rim was a great film. It just probably wasn't executed to the best of its ability. I said, tell me another movie where you said people were expecting an alien invasion not to come from the stars, but from the depths of the ocean, which 75% exactly 75% of the ocean is 75% of the earth is covered in the ocean, and we probably understand 20 or 30%. That means 70% completely unaccounted for. Shit, knock my stuff over. So now you got people trying to rush to beat these aliens, building kaijus to fix this problem, but they're too big for one person to control by themselves. Therefore, you control your half, I control my own. And it also gives the character that we're following the most depth because he lost his person that was his mind link, but was strong enough to link an entire kaiju by his damn self to get back to the base. Don't you dare roll your eyes at me, man. Don't play with me today, sir.
I roll my eyes. I'm falling asleep on this boring ass shit you're talking about.
Oh,
you know what? If the issue is they're too big for one person, then you make them smaller. Okay, and then you make them smaller, and now you have a team of them going after a kaiju. Now, I understand the kaiju are huge. Now, how much damage can these little small things do? But we see wolves take on bigger prey. The teamwork is what makes the dream work. And at some point, I'm not saying it has to be like fucking Power Rangers and they all come together, but I'm just saying if they wanted to throw that idea out of a super what was that thing called? Jaeger, or is that what it was called?
The Jaegers, yeah.
If they could have made that work, I'm like, all right, that's fine. But having 2 people to have to, again, do the fusion is at least Dragon Ball Z for its issues understood that this is one thing. Once you get it together this one time, then you have the power. As opposed to constantly having to be mentally aligned with this person, especially when you're in battle. There's going to be so many different emotions coming from you that can easily fuck up your link, fuck up your chances of victory.
Bro, two things. Number one, they established that they would have been too complex for one person. That's because even when they got the kaiju and Charlie did don't play with me. Because even when Charlie Day's character and the other scientists, when they got in the mind of a kaiju, it took both of them to actually figure that shit out. And it didn't change the fact that Charlie Day's character went crazy in part 2. On top of that, sir, ain't no way someone says, hey, that dick's bigger than yours. You're like, hey, if I put 6 dicks together, it's as big as the other guys.
It's not the size of the boat. It's the motion of the ocean. That's a saying for a reason. Get 5, 6 of them things together, creating some great fucking motion that this kaiju ain't fucking with. And we saved the day. It's as easily as right. I love the Ivan News movie, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, right? And although they were all 5 people in that one body, think of the conversations that they was having while in it if it was individual. Like when who was it? Somebody was it Rocky? Somebody was like, hang in there, Rocky. Yeah, he was like, oh, I'm hanging. When it was all individuals, but you see that link that you're talking about. I can accept a psychic link from Young Justice. They all had a fucking mechanical link, techno link, to where they could talk to one another from their different Zords. And then you had when they were in the Megazord. But then Aisha, the Yellow Ranger, hit that. She broke up, open that. Y'all know what I'm talking about in chat. I'm just on this move by myself. But when Kimberly was like, "Well, what are you doing?" and she said, "Taking care of business." And somehow this emergency button was simply "knee this man in the nuts." That was weird. But if that same conversation, "Oh, what are you doing? I see you." Like you're not going with the plan that we established in military training with our Jaegers. What are you doing over there? Taking care of business. And then you see them go over there and they kind of trip the monster, or maybe they do the shit where like somebody's like bent over and then one character like pushes the monster over, they push him, oh, we fall into a volcano, something off the top of my head. I'm just like, there were ways where they could have made this shit work and it could have been a great fucking movie. Zach, you came in, I think we interrupted you. What was your thoughts, man? Because we'll just go back and forth.
No, I was just gonna mess with Left Eye on that one a little bit. Yeah, I think, but what if you want to have a female Jaeger, right? So you have 2 people in there. That makes sense because their personalities can change on a dime.
I mean, the thing is,
we're married. Come on, guys, you know.
You gotta, no. Hold on. It's supposed to be the brain on there. So there is a thing in which, you know, there's a wave of testosterone in the womb that gets you hit in the brain. They call that literally where the brainwash comes from. So some women can get hit with a wave of testosterone right before birth, and that's why they might have more masculine characters. All I'm saying is you link that one up with a dude, no problem. Or you link up 2 women. I'm okay with either one. All I'm saying is if you say it takes 2 to make these makes the Jaegers work, I'm with it. That's all.
All right, you better hope your partner don't call in sick that day. Because your ass is not saving the world. You ain't fighting no monsters.
It's a war. You better bring your sick ass on this Jaeger.
Even if you are sick, you ain't mentally prepared to handle this. I mean, even if you do come into work.
Can you imagine the 2 female pilots of this Jaeger cycling up and PMSing at the same time too?
That would be an unstoppable Jaeger.
It's like a Megazord. There,
God help us.
That's a Megazord.
Now, that would be cool, but just for that one instance.
No, see, I don't know why they had to have just 2 people in there. Why didn't they just have like a whole team working at different things, like the shields and the rockets, and they all have to work together as a team because it's the same concept of like, hey, we have to work together. And that's the whole point of like this kind of arc you get in Pacific Rim is like, we can't fight each other. We have to work together with our brains. It's like, no, how about like it's cool when a team like a football team or anything like that, or as like dumb as like a marching band, you have to be all on the same page and you have to be working together in harmony, kind of like the Mulan, you know, at the end, you know, when they're like be a man, right? Like you like that sequence of like, yeah, we're together as a unit now. We are one
even if we have to dress and drag.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I wish they would have done that in that movie, but instead it's just like we just have 2 people, and I don't know. It's just so dumb. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb. Like I said, Gundam, one person controls this big ass robot that's out there flying in space, like no issue. Japanese just accept it. That's just what it is. And we're over here like, no, we need 2 people to fit in a big robot. Like, come on, man.
Team stands for together, everyone achieves more. Okay. That's it. That's all.
You know what? Okay. If I'm going, I'm glad you said that. If I'm going to play football, I don't want somebody on my fucking back while I'm trying to get a tackle. I got my own arms. I don't need you reaching out to grab the dude and I got to carry you to get to him. You're right there. I'm right there. Let's use teamwork and like trap him or some shit.
One arm here for my guy. Your arm over here. We tackle him together, sir.
Yeah, bro. Only RRR can get away with doing some shit like that.
Yeah.
And it was because his fucking legs were broken. It made sense. The issue was it was a natural issue that they had to adapt to, as opposed to you filthy Americans creating issues for yourselves. We have to have 2 people in a robot. No thoughts on fitness. I'm not being contrarian. I'm serious about this. it's terrible to hear that people are okay with that idea.
But you know what though, AJ, the deal is it creates conflict. That's why it's there from a writing perspective. It gives you that conflict inside. That's why it's contrived to be there for sure, but it does add to the story and how you tell it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It creates issues where it doesn't have to be, where they don't have to be. And you could have had an amazing movie. I've never heard anybody talk about Pacific Rim besides Lofty just recently. And he acknowledges the issues with it. But I'm like, it wasn't a great movie. Y'all don't talk about it. So let's not justify his decision making when those decisions made it not really talked about now.
Sir, just because it wasn't talked about doesn't it take away from the fact that it was a great movie and a great concept. More or less original.
So Hellord says they wanted to work alone, but the machine made them have to understand each other and become a team. Do you know what? We say that in the writer's room or coming together, and then somebody would say, but you can have one person like piloting the robot, the mech. We can make them understand each other and become a team in some other way. And then y'all say, you're right. How can we make that happen? And then the story continues to evolve as opposed to just stopping right here and just saying, okay, this is it. This is the end all be all.
There you go. There's love for Pacific Rim. There's love.
There's very love. Cult classic.
It's proof there's dead people or dead people in your chat right now.
Trip.
Exactly.
We found out you were an actual female, so that bite might actually happen. Ooh.
Okay, that Paula Dean Rob would have been hilarious. That'd have been funny. I thought that'd have been funny. That'd been funny.
All right, I'll let y'all have it. Pacific Rim. Hey, I don't whatever. I don't look for people to talk about it, so maybe that's what
want that concept to be good. I like the concept, like the mech versus the kaiju. I love that.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it was just mishandled and choices in it that pissed me off. I also love the idea of like each country having its own different version of the Jaeger. Like Russia has its own version, China, the United States, England, whatever. They all have been building these things to fight off the invasion. I love that idea, but it just, again, it mishandled.
Look, I look at Pacific Rim the same way I was saying Invincible. I'll YouTube the fights, and that's all I need out of it because there's nothing else from it of value. But look, Pacific Rim, Gundam. One is a cult classic. One has been going for decades, maybe two, not a whole lot. So I'm just like,
that's fair.
It is what it is.
It got a sequel though. It did it well enough to get a sequel.
It don't take much to get a sequel.
It was just terrible though. The sequel wasn't that good. Sequel wasn't that bad. It wasn't that great, but I mean, good lord.
All right, y'all. I'm not going to fight it anymore.
Thank you. Do not.
I put all my energy into that I've ever had. I got my emotions out. It's fuck it. Oh, look at Gundam been going since '78. Pacific Rim got 2 movies, and
I want to ask AJ, like, how excited are you for this new Wolfpack show?
What Wolfpack show? The one Salty was talking about?
Oh, with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Is that the
Wolfpack show
with Buffy?
Yeah, I'm sharing it.
Ah, man.
There you go.
Oh shit.
That's for AJ, right?
Ooh, go AJ.
Look, I've said I didn't really care for Buffy. I don't care about this shit, man. It's gonna be trash. I know it. I've seen, which I haven't seen, Teen Wolf. What is it? Supernatural. Like all of these little CW type little werewolf stories and all this love shit involved. I'm not interested. But I did say that the romance of the werewolf era is coming. They've had their way with vampires, so I'm not surprised if we see more wolf stories come from this, or it could continue going the way it's been going, like when Teen Wolf came out and people just like, we don't give a shit about dog men or dog people relationships. Who knows? The furries are somewhat a part of a particular community. They taking over now, so we'll see what happens. But nah, man, this shit's gonna be trash. They're gonna do what they did in True Blood and take their clothes off and then turn into these little tiny wolves on all fours. You're gonna see them like licking in each other's mouths and shit. And
well, the trailer showed them licking in their mouths, but not as wolves.
Oh, as humans,
Yeah.
I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see softcore porn.
But I went to high school students who end up as werewolves, it looks like, and then Sarah Michelle Gellar is hunting them down. I don't know if she's a werewolf or not, but
oh man, so she's hunting children and then her high school. I can't do it. Look, I will say this, people, in my werewolf comic, they are not in high school. So we don't have to worry about fucking children. No, they're slightly older. Slightly older. We got to do it for the young adults. That's what you hyped for that, Zax? How you feel about it? Did you leave, Zax?
No, I'm still here. Just give me. I gotta need a minute here.
Okay,
wow.
okay.
What? That's embarrassing. How unprofessional is Zax? Dude, I don't fucking care about werewolves. Get this shit off the fucking screen right now. Take it off. No one
and he brought it up.
Oh, I kick him, dude. No one cares about werewolves.
John calling me out. AJ, you got
I think
mad
it's going to
at
be
people?
horrible. I think it's going to be bad, but I wondered maybe you can get hired on as an intimacy coordinator for the show. They might need one, right? With the wolves.
Nah, man, I don't want any part of this project.
At all?
Nothing?
At all.
These are representing your people.
Yeah, and it's also live action. Live action werewolves don't do so hot.
Nothing. I just want to stir you up a bit on this, but you seem like you're fairly flat on it. I thought you might be excited or at least upset. Nothing.
Yeah, man. No interest.
Something
I don't
nothing.
care about. So John says, AJ, you got mad at people thinking about Princess Peach might be a girl boss, but dismissing this as immediate trash. And at no point did I say because girl boss reasons, for trash wolf reasons. It's why I don't give a shit about this. I don't care about Sarah Michelle. What is this, Geller, or whatever? But hey, people love Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so there you go.
Yeah,
pay
they're called
attention.
idiots. That's the people.
Well, now that I've left this here and killed the flow of the show, I'm going to bail on you guys.
No, we about to get out of here anyway, man. It's been going long.
We appreciate y'all, man.
Them animated wolvies coming.
Oh God, weirdo.
I've leaned into my never mind, I'm not gonna go there.
Oh, dude, Nosferatu in the chat. Helen Michelle Keller. Dude, can you imagine Helen Keller fighting or hunting down werewolves?
That'd be so good.
Is a great idea.
Yeah, like she can't have both disabilities. Like pick one.
Everyone thought she had a disability, but really she had a superpower for killing werewolves.
I think she just wants to stay away from her husband because Freddie Prinze Jr. is weird now.
He got weird. What happened? Is this post 24?
Who for the Freddie Prinze?
For Freddie Prinze, like, is he weird? Like after being on 24, or was this before this?
Freddie Prinze, he's weird now.
What happened?
Being a stay-at-home dad, I think, got to him.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, he can only fit in that purse so many times for her, and now he's, he's probably had enough of it, right?
Hold on.
I think he watched Pacific Rim a few too many times, and kind of
don't do that. Don't be that guy. Don't do that. Don't. No, we're having such a good time.
I love the two-brain concept in this Jaeger. It's so cool and so innovative.
I believe it. I didn't even know that was the girl. That's her, right? Buffy is Daphne.
Yeah, they were in the movie. Yeah, they were married like right before that, or like right after. But they've been together ever since. Yeah,
I didn't know, man. I let a little bit of my racism slip just then. All right,
that's all right. I got you. I'll give you your white card.
Thank you. From the magical white, so don't get no better than that.
Yeah, we mix up you and Eagle all the time. Don't worry, dude.
Yeah, Eagle. This man said, "I'm one of the two black people he's met, and we just so happen to check the gay box as well."
Listen, that was so far in the stream, I didn't think you were gonna hear it. I was like, "There's no way he's gonna hear this."
So, you are not invited to the pull-up.
Oh man,
I remember that.
I guess I gotta keep my mayonnaise at my house. My spicy mayonnaise.
That spicy mayonnaise
and all your fruit and dishes that it don't go in. You come to the pull-up is on site. All right.
Oh man.
Do we have anything to say to the chat before we get out of here? Those are pretty much all our topics. The public domain thing was the main conversation, really. You guys didn't really give us anything for that, but everybody went in on the casting.
Pacific Rim and the Pacific Rim. Yeah,
thank you
guys
casting.
backing me up.
They backed you up, man. It was kind of beautiful to see, but it was disappointing at the same time.
For you,
chat,
reality
chat. All right, Don. Instead of me continuing working on projects with Ego, we'll get our projects out the way. But Don, we got to make our mech versus kaiju show, comic, or whatever, and shit on Pacific Rim.
If you don't let me in that strip,
Atlantic Hole
all day.
Yeah, we'll have a whole page. Atlantic Hole. There you go. I think we'll have a whole page of like some scientists try to develop a two-brain solution to these robots, but then ended up turning every participant retarded after trying to pilot it. They're like, I tried to do it, my brain don't work.
Hopefully their brains get fried. They transferring memories over to one another, just like mannerisms.
I mean, but if you think about it, look at you and Gator. You guys are kind of partway through that experiment, no?
We've become one. Yeah, that's different though. You know, we're not trying to pilot something. We're trying to. Yeah, that's just love. You know, like when you're in a relationship, you just become one with that person inadvertently. Yeah, that's how it happens.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, Zach, appreciate you coming through, man. It was for a little bit, but I understand you got things coming on. You guys should be regulars. You'll be on here more often. Chat, you will see these guys more often. People, if you can drop links and all that good stuff. Please, you a mod, man. You do it. Whose phone keeps vibrating? Is that one of y'all?
Mine.
Not mine. It's AJ's.
I don't know anybody.
Who's fucking up the quality of the stream?
Don't worry. All right. It's not me, I'll tell you that. But I did drop my link in the chat for my channel. I'm also getting Zax's right now as well. We're going to be live streaming tonight at 11:30 Central Standard Time. We're going to be doing our Circle of Jerks. So come on over there for that. We still haven't made the link for the stream, but it's a great thumbnail. I think it fits the channel pretty nicely.
It's probably the best one yet, I think, thumbnail-wise. You hit it out of the park this time, Placid.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
What the hell did that one thumbnail with the what's her Rhaenyra, the daughter?
Yeah.
None of that conversation was about her, or I don't even think House. I'm like, when does her ass show up in the conversation? What she do now? But no. So it might be a good thumbnail, Flaccid, but it could be misleading. View at your own risk, chat.
Hate to have that happen.
Yeah, oh no.
All right. I got nothing else to say. We're getting out of here, people. Let me get the outro ready. Y'all good? All right. Much fun. Love all that good stuff. Great geek conversation. Thank y'all, chat, for enduring that, being a part of that. We will catch y'all next week, Saturday, Lord willing. Same time, 10:30, 10:45. We'll let you know. I keep saying I'm going to get notifications out earlier. Maybe. I think it's now just like, maybe I'll do it the day of and just see what happens. It's kind of like playing chicken. It's fun. But all right. Peace. I'm gonna knock these stickers off.
Too bad for you, cause I just took another job. And even though they don't pay hardly nothing, working for white folks look way better on my resume.